welcome to House Party 5v5 Europe West. We have had one game already today so far, which was Britney Spears versus Brownline Gaming. Britney Spears have been looking pretty good so far this season, actually, and they actually came out with a 2-0 win. So that was a good show overall. Now, for today's game, we've got Manatee Gaming versus BRGR.co. Looking so far, we've got a full lineup here on both sides. I understand BRGR.co were having some roster problems earlier in the last few weeks, but they sorted that all out now. So hopefully we should have a good game and a full kind of lineup available. Just a quick look at the bans whilst before we go into Champ Select. We've got Elise, Vigo and Gangplank, and then Yasuo, Thresh and BRGR is picking up the last actual ban.
Yeah, pretty standard bans so far, I think. Elise, Vigo, Gangplank, the kind of things you would definitely look for in probably solo queue. Yasuo and Thresh perhaps targeted more, specific people within the roster.
Yeah, so Threshly's kind of shown he's fairly confident with Thresh so far, so that's not a surprise at all. Kindred just kind of banning, so I imagine BRGR haven't had much time to kind of practice against it. I don't know whether Coco's actually played that tool or not, but it's good ban all the same, it's worth doing.
Well, yeah, it's just a case of, taking a look at, the strengths and weaknesses of what could possibly be picked, but like I said, I think the Gangplank, the Vigo and the Elise are very, very sort of general bans, but perhaps, the Yasuo, Thresh and Kindred slightly more targeted.
Yeah, so just a quick glance at the actual teams themselves. BRGR.co so far have had a bit of a rough time this season in terms of actually winning games. They've had 3 losses and 2 wins, in comparison to Manatee Gaming's 3 wins, 1 loss and 2 ties. So it's going to be they're on the back foot, at least in terms of this game. I'm expecting Manatee Gaming to probably pull ahead, at least in one of the games, but we may well see a close game in at least one of them as well. We've got a quick Lulu pick up there for Siraz, so that's going to probably be going in the top lane, to be honest. They're followed by Fiora and Tom Kench quite quickly over on BRGR's side, so looking probably Tom Kench in support and Fiora at the top lane. Very meta picks at the moment. I've been seeing that a lot in Worlds, and I imagine people have been watching the last few games and thinking that'll be fun to play.
Yeah, looks like MG are picking a lot of support-based champions. Could be hoping to maybe pick into something like a Jinx or a Cogmore and really focus a lot of their power into that AD carry pick, and really look to give BRGR a hard time in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, if they go through with Nunu and Alistair, which would be quite interesting to do because they're both very there's a Victor pick instead, to see if that's locked in. If they do go for the Nunu, they're probably going to be focusing a lot of the attention on towards the Dragon, so bot side, to try and get the early lead with that. And then, as you said, yeah, the Jinx comes in, so that should be sort of going for a Jugger Jinx type thing here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to be stacking a lot of focus on that bot lane depending on where the Jinx goes. Obviously you're going to be putting a lot of protection for the Jinx and a lot of focus on dragons, so it's going to be interesting to see if there's any counterplay in store to obviously, take some focus off of that lane, or perhaps even take it for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the actual team, hang on, yeah, sorry, no, my mistake. BRGR on the left-hand side, apparently, and Manatee Gaming on the right-hand side. So,
thank you for that information.
We've got our thing wrong on the actual screen here, so that's fun. Anyway, regardless, we've got a Lee Sin and a Vayne here over for. I'm pretty sure that is Manatee Gaming. Let me just quickly double check this. Yes, it is. So yeah, Manatee Gaming are picking up the Lee Sin and the Vayne. So there we go. That's going to be, so obviously Tom Kench will be protecting the Vayne quite well. Vayne can look after herself though, so given what they can do with that, there'll probably be quite a lot of split pushing going on there.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx and Vayne both scale very well into the late game. That Fiora is definitely going to turn up at some point towards the late game as well, so it could just be that both teams are perhaps looking to push this one as late as possible and really focus around those objectives.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, Janna comes in now. More protection for the Jinx, really. Focusing basically everything into Vi's my wife, so the AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the Victor as well. I mean, with the gravity fields and the ultimate, that's really going to create a big wall that they've got to get through to even get to the Jinx in the first place. And obviously Fiora is an extremely competent gap closer and damage dealer, but she's got a lot to get through this game.
Yeah, I mean, she shouldn't have too much of a problem if she's just dueling the front line. She'll probably get kited off quite easily by Lulu. I think her split push will be okay overall, though, as long as she's not disturbed too much by the rest of the team. But if she gets drops off early, then it might well be quite rough for Manatee Gaming overall, though.
Do you think the heal's going to stay on Fiora, or do you reckon that'll get changed to a teleport at some point?
That's a good point. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when it actually kind of goes into the game. If they don't have teleport, then that's going to be quite strange because they won't end up doing a split push or anything like that with Fiora. So that could actually be quite interesting if Unlucky Bopper ends up staying on the actual heal rather than teleport. Obviously, they've got effectively 2 teleports with Twisted Fate, so they may well make that the split push and just keep Fiora as kind of fighting. But I feel a lot of Fiora's strength is in the split push itself.
Obviously, without that teleport, she's going to have a really tough time trying to get that flank off, getting towards the Jinx. It has been changed to a teleport.
Okay, yeah, so split push is going in there. So now we've obviously got the 3-minute delay whilst we wait for everything to kick off. In terms of the teams themselves, obviously we've had a quick discussion over BRGR and their roster problems. They have all, as we said, we've all kind of sorted that out now, and they've got a fairly good composition, actual player-wise, looking at the team they've got. Manatee Gaming have been looking pretty strong, though. It's going to be quite a rough ride for them, but perhaps with the new roster, we may well be able to get ahead and actually kind of show that they're actually a lot more stronger team now. So I think it'll be quite interesting overall.
Yeah, I mean, the only true tank on, is obviously looking at the Nunu. That's really the only true tank they've got. And for Vayne to get through that isn't going to be too difficult the later the game goes. So obviously, if it gets to that stage where the Vayne does get incredibly fed and does slightly outscale the Jinx, she could end up outscaling the entire team comp and just rip through them like paper.
Yeah, of course. AN's actually quite a competent Lee Sin. Just quickly looking at his solo rank, he's actually got a 67% win ratio with Lee Sin. So he's on a very, very comfort pick. He'll probably be able to get a lot done in the early game whilst Nunu's trying to do the same control objectives. Lee Sin can probably look to invade, look to actually keep him away from it. So worst comes to worst, we may end up seeing that Nunu's in the red side jungle and the Lee Sin's in the blue side jungle.
Yeah, I mean, both junglers are very competent with their clears. They're both very safe. Perhaps Nunu more so than Lee Sin, but Lee Sin can give other junglers a lot of problems if he chooses to invade or just even been protecting his own jungle. He's really, really strong, been a staple pick for a long time for a lot of people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we've just got to kind of wait for we actually start kicking off the game now. In terms of the Tahm Kench, obviously we're protecting the bot lane. What do you think of the bot lane? Who do you think is going to be coming out top? As we said, we've got the Jugger Jinx with in the team fights itself, but the actual lane. Do you think the Vayne and Tahm Kench will go ahead?
I think it's going to be the majority of it is going to be a farm lane. Obviously, with the Janna looking to peel the Jinx, the Tahm Kench is going to be looking to peel the Vayne. The main thing that concerns me about the bot lane is obviously you have the Ignite on the Tahm Kench. That does signal there's going to be a lot of aggression from that Tahm Kench. However, when it's so clear that they are running a Jugger Jinx comp, you would think they would want an exhaust because that would surely shut down the comp pretty heavily.
Yeah, that is actually a good point. Actually, I think exhaust would probably work out quite well there. Obviously, we've got a double TP on both sides, so Victor and Twisted Fate, Lulu and Fiora. If anything starts kicking off in the bot lane, they can very easily TP down and make it into a 4v4 very fast. At which point, with an early game, Jinx can't do a whole lot, but as long as they can scale it out into the late game, with a Lulu to back up the Jinx, with a Nunu to back up the Jinx, with a Janna to back up the Jinx.
I think the main focuses this game are going to be for both teams, perhaps reaching that late game and getting those 5 dragons. I really feel that's going to be a win condition for both teams this game.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think so. As I kind of mentioned, Manatee Gaming will probably look to do a lot more in terms of split pushing. So they might actually, when BRGR actually get into the late game, Manatee Gaming possibly might just end up winning on the actual global level rather than just in the team fight. If they can avoid the team fights as a whole, they might just kind of be able to win that way.
Yeah, I mean, also with both of the compositions, obviously with the Lee Sin, the Fiora, and the Twisted Fate, with the point and click stun on Twisted Fate, you've got a far more. You're capable of making picks on that composition. Whereas, obviously, when you're protecting the Jinx, you're putting all your eggs into the one basket. I'm not sure, how quickly Victor could nuke down any of the opposing teams. So, it does make it quite difficult, especially with the Tahm Kench. That's going to negate a lot of the Victor's burst onto the Vayne or the Twisted Fate. So it'll be interesting to see which compositions had the most practice and which composition will play out the best.
Yeah. Now, depending on what AN actually goes on Lee Sin, whether he goes Warrior or whether he goes Cinderhawk, more likely to be Warrior, because obviously, as we kind of said, if you can get the early game going, then we might just be able to push out without even needing to get into the late game.
Yeah.
But without the Cinderhawk, obviously, they are not very tanky at all. So aside from the Tahm Kench eating the Vayne or eating the Twisted Fate, I think Victor can actually do a lot of damage and can get a lot sort of thrown out onto the actual team fights, which is why the split push and trying to avoid team fights as much as possible might actually work out better for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of AoE damage coming in from Lulu, Victor, and even the Nunu ultimate, and that can, really put a stopper on Tahm Kench if you can only protect one person.
Yeah, it's going to be. It'll be interesting, I think. We
Yeah,
should have a good
certainly.
game ahead of us as we kind of load in now, at least anyway, and try and see what we get going for the actual team fights and the laning.
Okay, so we should just be loading into the Rift within the next couple of seconds, and hopefully we can get the game underway.
Yeah, so we've got the items already bought out. If we just have a quick look. Standard start for most of them. Fiora starting Doran's Blade, Lulu starting Doran's Ring, so aggressive in both that regards. A lot of pings going on in the map, so we should hopefully be seeing possibly some early warding going on.
I was going to say, I
doubt there'll be a fight or anything like that.
I'm slightly surprised that Nunu perhaps didn't pick up a ward instead of the 2 health potions. Nunu has I think with the Consume, he has an incredibly safe jungle, and the ward might be a bit more useful in perhaps keeping out Iron on that Lee Sin.
Yeah, they look like Victor's possibly gonna get caught out there. He gets slowed, Tahm Kench gets Q on him. Vayne tumbles in, gets a bit of damage. Jinx is there, just kind of pushing back, and so Victor will get out safely. A bit of damage done, but obviously he'll hold up in time. They are looking to do the invade though and try and shut down this Nunu. Nunu's getting caught out here. That could actually very easily be a kill. Nunu flashes in. TF tries to get the gold card with a flash and just doesn't quite connect it there. So that's 2 summoners down. It's almost more worrying now for Manatee Gaming, the fact that we don't have Twisted Fate with Flash. Fortunately, he's a bit of a safe laner, so it shouldn't be too much problem, but it's very punishable. It's just a shame it's a Nunu jungle, so at best you're going to get a slow off, and the Twisted Fate will just kite back. So it shouldn't be too bad, but a little interesting early start anyway.
I think there was no real excuse for Coco to burn the flash there. I think he knew the invade was there. He should have been walking away. He should have, placed a ward and just left. There was no need to be where he was, and he very nearly gave away first blood. Pretty inexcusable if you ask me.
Yeah, so they're doing, in fact, both the AD carries, both the bot lanes have actually swapped to the top lane. We're seeing Imp and the Salt actually taking an early Krugs here, so they should get level 2. And yeah, Lee Sin is starting with a red buff, and we've got the double tops, top and jungle starting both on the actual camps themselves.
Be interesting to see who dings level 2 first in that top lane, and whether or not there'll be any aggression. I don't think there will be on the side of Jinx and Janna. I think it will just a case of farming up, getting that Jinx, a good amount of gold before we can head into the mid game when they group up. But
yeah, well, as we kind of mentioned, we've got a Tahm Kench who actually has Ignite. So if they get the level 2 early, which they will, can they actually make something out of that? Because feasibly they can Ghost right in now and do something, but it's not looking like much, I'm afraid. Fiora's getting a bit of solo farm here, whilst Lulu actually helps Nunu take the red side red buff. So Lee Sin's going to head over there, go right through the ward, and he's not actually going to get caught in at all.
He's just walked into a completely empty top side of the jungle. The only thing he's actually got left to take are the Wraiths, or the Raptors, sorry.
Yeah, so there's a bit going off here on the top lane. Imp has to get a flash in there, just try and stay alive as the Nunu comes in with a gank. Lulu comes up as well. So yeah, Lulu is going to TP into the bot lane. Going to get a little hit off there by Tom, but nothing too major.
I was going to say that it looks like that might have been a strat that they practiced quite a lot. The the 4-man gank level 2, because she's actually got down just in time to reach the wave. Really good use of teleport. They got a flash. It's just a shame they didn't get the first blood.
Yeah, unlucky. He did try and push that wave as hard as he could, but it just wasn't actually enough in the end to actually kind of get it in there. Now we're going to have a gank coming down in the bot lane. Lulu is actually in a quite sticky situation. She does have flash, but we're going to see what can actually come of it. Aeon sitting in the bush just behind, and we've got Sig as TF in the tri-bush. Sig locks in the gold card, but yeah, Siraz is very, very safe there, not too much of a problem at all.
So the Whimsy completely nullifying the gank. I mean, it was a good angle. Perhaps, maybe, if Sig had held on to the flash from the early invade, perhaps they could have got the blue card off, but I don't think they would have had the damage to get the first blood anyway.
So it's just a bit of farming going top side. Obviously, both AD carries are about neck and neck. Nothing too major gone on in the mid lane either. Obviously, we have Twisted Fate roam, but he's managed to actually stay even in the farm, so it wasn't too bad considering he didn't get anything out of it.
There's a good ward hut by Iron there. That could actually be the first blood onto Lulu, and
yeah,
it will most certainly be.
So yeah, unlucky Bobo Bopper picks up that kill. And that's a very good start for Fiora, getting some
great
CS
teleport
as well.
That was a fantastic teleport up by Twisted Fate as well. Obviously, I'm a little bit surprised that perhaps the mod didn't choose to follow the Twisted Fate when he went up, or perhaps proper gravity field down, but that's obviously 2 kills over the red side, and good plays all around really.
Yeah, I mean when Twisted Fate kind of teleports in, even if it's not the ultimate, the if he can get the stun off, there's not a lot he can really do there. Obviously, some bit of damage going down there onto Vi's my wife. Nothing too major, actually might be able to heal up.
Also, I mean, if you look now, the Twisted Fate's flash is back up, so perhaps he could look to, roam onto that bot lane, grab another kill on that Lulu. He's already secured one over to Fiora.
Yeah.
So that's just still a lot of pressure from that TF. Obviously, Victor can wave clear very effectively and put a lot of pressure on the tower, so it'll be interesting to see how they play it out.
Yeah, so Iron's just here just to actually pick up some of the farm while Sig recalls. I imagine Sig was going to try and get level 6 before he backed, but Victor's putting a lot of pressure and he was getting a bit low from that, so he did back out. We see that Unlucky Bopper is getting a lot of damage onto Lulu, backing with that pickaxe he got from First Blood. So that is going to be very useful. Getting a fair bit of poke still onto the Lulu.
Actually,
we've got
the
Nunu gank coming in here, so this is actually going to be a big problem here for Fiora. She can get away with that, and yeah, Coco doesn't actually commit to that, so Fiora manages to get away without too much. We've got Aeon coming around here, going to miss for Nunu entirely, and they're going to be able to go back onto Siraz here. Siraz gets a lot of damage taken in, and that is another kill for Unlucky Bopper, so that's a 2-0 Fiora onto a Lulu. You would expect for Lulu to be able to farm quite safely, but Unlucky Bopper is really showing that he's actually quite a strong Fiora here.
As you commented earlier, Ian is clearly very confident on that Lee Sin pick. That was 2 excellent ward hops and 2 excellent kills given over to Unlucky Bopper, who might be showing up a little bit earlier than we expected.
Yeah, so this will actually end up becoming quite a big problem for BRGR as they can transition into the mid game once this Unlucky Bopper on Fiora can actually start roaming around, can actually start split pushing.
Yeah, I mean, if Unlucky Bopper keeps picking up kills at the rate that he currently is, that Fiora is going to become unstoppable. It doesn't matter how much you pile onto that Jinx. She's going to get the gap closed and she's going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, so there's a potential fight up and top, but they seem to have managed to disengage that fine. Tom Kentrell was looking to try and get some slows down onto Vise, My Wife, and Sashi, but they got away with that without any too much problem. We can see that Manatee Gaming have actually warded up BRGR's red side incredibly hard. They're going to look to try and secure this dragon with, I imagine, keep Nunu away from pretty much the one thing he's good at.
I mean, obviously the top lane is, with the AD carry, it's looking to be a farm lane, but Vayne is out farming the Jinx at the moment by a good 10 CS.
Yeah, also we see Sig here with the flash get a good stun onto Mod, and Aeon comes away with the kill. Very nicely done. That was a very good TF ultimate.
Yeah, that was almost a good victor ult as well, but maybe a little bit too late. I didn't see exactly where Nunu was on the map, but I don't think there's much he could have done to help him out anyway. Just extremely aggressive players going into the jungle, as I kind of expected from Iron on that Lee Sin, really helping out, showing the love, getting a lot of gold for his laners, and generally giving the entire blue side a really hard time.
Yeah, so as mentioned, Manatee Gaming actually warded a lot of the red side up, and that basically gave them that kill right then and there. They knew Victor was doing the Rave Camp, and they were able to just kind of take that from them. So Nunu does manage to actually kind of get his red buff at least. Lee Sin is not going to commit to that. Yeah, it's been quite a good start for Manatee Gaming overall. They are 4 kills up, and that is looking close to a 3,000k gold lead. Well, 3k gold lead, not 3,000k.
Yeah, the AD carries have both migrated back to the bot lane, so it could be a sign that both teams are looking to pressure Dragon. Obviously, with the Nunu, you would expect them to have gotten it fairly early, perhaps looking to secure the Sightstone first, as he has, before he starts making aggressive plays on the Dragon.
Yeah. So we'll see Aeon here just picking up the red buff. Unlucky Bopper's trying to get a bit of damage onto Siraz, and that's actually quite a lot. But he's taking a lot back. Lulu could potentially go in and get the kill. Oh, Unlucky Bopper has to flash out there, and Siraz can possibly chase, doesn't want to. Fortunately for Unlucky Bopper, Aeon is there, but Siraz did not actually know that. So quite interesting. We're seeing Aeon come in now. Siraz just put a ward down. Manages to see Aeon, but is he going to be able to land the resonating strike and actually get the kill here? Oh, instead it's Wardhop right in there. Unlucky Bopper does not pick up the kill at all, but fantastic kill by Aeon. Wardhop right into ultimate. Just kill him straight off there.
I think Iron has actually ward-hopped for at least 3 of his 4 kill participations so far in this game,
He's
if not
definitely
all
got
of
the
them.
macro for that.
Clearly very well practiced at the ward-hopping. Might have to take some notes from this one myself. But I think the tower actually worked quite well in Lulu's favour. And there are a couple of times now the tower's actually just tip trades in her favour. But again, it's so difficult to play safely against this Lee Sin, who is so mobile, who is so strong, and is
so ahead.
So ahead.
You look at the gold difference. It's almost 1,000 gold between Lee Sin and Nunu, and we're only 10 minutes into the game.
Obviously, the difference between the junglers, I mean, I would have thought that Nunu would have tried to go for a dragon by now, but Lee Sin has been playing his own game. He has been putting on a lot of early game pressure and really getting around the map, more so than Nunu is capable of doing. I would have thought Nunu would put more pressure on objectives, but it just hasn't. I don't think he's had a chance this game.
Yeah, so Aeon is looking to actually possibly gank the TF. No, instead he's going to back away. We've got an ultimate on Sig, going straight in there, getting the easy kill onto Siraz, and yeah, I mean, well, Siraz is having an awful game, 4 deaths in total. They've Manatee Gaming been putting a lot of focus on there, and we've just got a quick pause going in here. So if we just have a quick look at the gold lead and items, we can try and work out what is actually going to be happening within the next few minutes of the game. There's not been a Drake go down at all yet, so we'll still look to see if anything can happen with that. Coco with Nunu obviously trying to do something with it, but it's hard when you've got a very, very strong Aeon on Lee Sin running around stopping you every chance you get. In total goals, we can see that Unlucky Bopper is actually 1.2k up on Siraz, which for not even 12 minutes in is gonna cause some pretty big problems for Lulu.
The most surprising thing for me about that matchup is the farm deficit is getting pretty huge. I mean, like you said earlier, I thought Lulu would have been able to farm incredibly safely with the Whimsy,
Well,
with the transmogrify, I thought she would have been really safe.
Yeah, interestingly, you would assume that a Jinx would be able to farm all right against Vayne, you know. Vi's my Wi-Fi is actually only at 67 CS in comparison to Im's 92. So the fact that bot lane is so far ahead is well for Manity Gaming. It's going to be really hard for them to come back, for BRGR at least.
Incidentally, for anyone wondering, the DC was because that the Jinx had actually disconnected from the game. So obviously the Juggernaut Jinx composition doesn't really work without the AD carry.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be starting the game again now. Got 3, 2, 1, and we're back in. So Vi is my wife has reconnected. It's going to pick up a little bit more of a farm. Unlucky Bopper and Fiora getting the tower quite easily, and actually managing to deny pretty much all CS from Siraz as well.
Just a word on Salt. He's been very consistent this game with his emote spam.
I've been missing that part, I'm afraid. It's not quite Heimerdinger level of emote spam. It's up there.
He's been flexing the tongue, ready for the team fights, ready to eat people up.
So AN and Sig are going to get a very easy Drake here. Coco's not even going to begin to try and contest it, and really, how can you when there's 4 people bottom, and they are so far ahead. If you even attempt to flash in there, you will go down.
I mean, arguably a Nunu with Consume and Smite could have stolen, but really the first dragon...
Is it worth getting yourself even that far behind just for 6% extra damage?
Yeah, I mean, the first
Probably
dragon as
not,
well.
Really. Yeah, like, I understand. Oh, completely missed that there. Unlucky Bopper getting a very easy kill on Siraz yet again, coming up with full health. Siraz going straight down. 0-5 in lane. Is about 20 CS difference, and even in terms of gold now, we are well into, well, yeah, at least 1.5k difference. Very hard time for Siraz here, unfortunately. Fortunately for Siraz on Lulu, she's a utility gank, but we've got a gank coming in here in the bottom lane. Imp gets grabbed by Salt and manages to slightly escape. Coco puts out the ultimate and manages to pop it as Salt flashes out. Imp on Vayne is kind of rolling around, getting as much damage as possible. Stun comes out from Sig, killing the Nunu, but Vi is my wife on Jinx manages to pick up a kill with the ultimate. Thrashy manages to use her ultimate, but does not manage to survive. Lee Sin picks up another kill. Meanwhile, Mod manages to kill Unlucky Bobber very easily there, which is quite surprising given how far ahead Unlucky Bobber is. So we'll see how that goes. Sig T F ults in, manages to stun on to the Jinx with the help of him, and that is another kill going down in the bot lane. That was a 3-for-1 in bot lane, 2-for-2 overall though.
Yeah, a bit of a bloodbath in bot lane. They'll just let the minions chunk down the rest of that tower, but overall that was good tower pressure there by Sieg, just, you know, nipping in behind Jinx and just, you know, dropping down the yellow card. An easy kill, really. Perhaps, you know, perhaps Vi as my wife shouldn't have stuck around there, but I don't really think there was much choice.
Yeah.
I think she was going to be chased down regardless.
We've got Unlucky Bobber coming in here now onto Siraz. Ayan's there as well, but it doesn't even look like he's going to be needed, to be perfectly honest. Siraz manages to put the Lulu ult out, but that is too little too late, I'm afraid. And 0-6 for Siraz. Very hard game. It's looking like it's going to be very, very tough for her to actually get back into this. Regardless of what the end result of this game is, I hope that she can at least kind of put this game behind her for the next game, so that potentially she can at least put on a stronger performance than this has been.
Yeah, I don't think this is according to the plan. You know, I think they perhaps plan to play a slightly more passive game than this, focus on objectives and get the Jinx farmed up and fed, but it's just not happened. Ian has completely, you know, visited every lane, completely torn their team to shreds and put on a really impressive display.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how far ahead Unlucky Bopper actually is, we really do need to give credit to Ayan. He's been doing absolutely fantastically. 5-0-2 in the jungle Lee Sin. We've got a bit of a mid-tower dive here, and that's actually looking like Sig might actually go down here. Coco picks up a solo kill onto Sig. He takes a lot of tower damage for what was effectively worthless, and that's a very, very easy kill for Coco. They're managing to go here around onto Ayan here. He does manage to ward off into the Dragon Pit to get away. He might actually turn around on Mod, but Mod backs out. Ayan can get away with his life, so he really should.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised with that one that Sieg didn't head towards the Tahm Kench, didn't jump in his mouth and just get out scot-free. I think he walked under the tower, tried to walk back out.
Yeah, so Sig ate Unlucky Whopper, and that just basically left Sig high and dry, and was like, well, what can I do now? I'm in the tower. We see Sig ulting. He's gonna just do this for vision, perhaps. He's gonna ult in, just get a bit of safety behind his actual team. Meanwhile, we do have IM actually pushing in the bot lane, so...
Yeah, I mean, without the Zhonya's, I don't really see him ulting in that bravely.
yeah, we won't see any of the ults on this straight away. Manatee Gaming are managing to push out BRGR quite safely from the red side jungle. Ian manages to get a fantastic insect onto the Jinx there. Why is my wife manages to get away with both? Actually uses a beautiful Janna ultimate just to make sure that she was all okay with flash out, obviously. Meanwhile, though, Imp is getting that bot tower, and that is more gold going down into Manatee Gaming's pockets.
That was almost a reverse insect there by Janna for the Lee Sin under the tower.
Yeah, so Ian trying to do some flashy plays, and it looked damn good, but it did not pay off, unfortunately. However, they did manage to get the bot tower, but I think they could have done that regardless of death.
I mean, there you saw, you know, a glimpse of the strength of this composition. I mean, they were able to protect the Jinx, Lulu was able to protect herself. I mean, that's how I would have expected it to be for a little bit longer, but they just didn't seem to be able to hold together in the early game.
Yeah, it's really all down to the early game of this one, I think. If the early game had gone better for BRGR, perhaps they could have made more. Obviously, the game is not over, though. We've still got a long while left. We're only 17 minutes in. But given the fact that we're looking at 7,000 gold lead for Manatee Gaming, they need to make some serious mistakes to lose this one.
Yeah, I think Ian's going to have to do more than a couple of questionable ward hops to throw this one.
Yeah, obviously that's the first step, so it does give a bit of gold over, because there is, of course, a shutdown gold. But even so, still a very comfortable lead. And in fact, Imp manages to get a solo kill onto Vi's my wife. It wasn't even a solo kill, in fact it was 3v1. He still manages to do that, and just flaps away. Can Imp get away? It's looking good. Tahm Kench ults in there just to scare Cirrus and Thrashy away, and the Salt is in a bit of a sticky situation now though. Imp is trying to lifesteal as much as he can, but there's not a lot really that Vayne can provide. Coco manages to put out the ult. In fact, they give up. So yeah, they managed to get out with that. Meanwhile, we've got Ayan and Sig on Vayne. And that is another kill there for Ayan. Sig picking up the assist. Meanwhile, Unlucky Bopper manages to pick up another tower. So that is even more global gold, and we are getting incredibly close to a 10k gold lead from Manatee Gaming.
I was going to say, I mean, not only are Manatee Gaming making plays, they're making them all over the map. It's difficult to keep track of. They've got towers going down at the top, you know,
they've got an
in the
tower going down in the bottom right here. This has gone way too out of control for BRGR, and there's been some questionable decisions overall. There's not been a lot that they've been able to do, however. Ayan and Lee Sin picking up the Drake there very comfortably. And yeah, they're going to apply more pressure on the bot lane. The Salt grabs Vayne, manages to get slowed by Coco, spits out Imp, and they're just going to get away. Oh, there's a... In fact, yeah, Cirrus comes around and there's going to be a 5-man all on this Vayne. Vayne goes right down there, so they were actually caught out of position there. Salt tried to remedy it by eating him and running away, but not fast enough.
They did have a lot of vision around there, but perhaps not deep enough, maybe a little bit too localized. All seems to be around that kind of pink wall position near red, but yeah, that
so
was a good...
modern Cirrus basically came down from the mid lane, just sort of walked right around, and a great pincer actually there. It's a good try to try and get back in. They managed to pick up a mid tower, so that's some global gold that they are desperately needing. As we said, there needs to be a lot of mistakes on Manatee Gaming for them to actually lose this one though. And whilst this is all happening, Unlucky Bopper is going to be just taking more and more farm in the top lane, applying pressure to that tower, and whilst they get a mid tower, they can't do much else with it.
I think it's just a case of damage control at the moment. They need to group up around this Jinx, they need to get the proper support for her, and, you know, try and pick some fights on their terms.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's a very early Baron, in fact, we're looking at 20 minutes here, we'll probably go about the 21st minute. We don't even have Vayne there to begin with, so Manatee Gaming are looking very easily like they're going to be picking up this. Coco's not really around to even try and take this. And, yep, there we go. Manatee Gaming picking up the first Baron in less than 21 minutes, in fact. Victor manages to get a gravity field out onto Unlucky Bopper, but he gets away safely thanks to Assault with his nice and tasty stomach.
Managed to repulse the initial gravity field, but obviously it's still
that's only a slow, not a stun.
I think.
So yeah, with Baron, they can they can just put Imp and Assault up in top or bot. They can put a Fiora in the other lane. They can very easily do a 2-2-1 or something like that and take a lot of towers. But they're going to do the safe thing. They're going to group into a 4-for-1 and get that mid tower. TF actually manages to ult in here. Yeah, gets a very easy kill onto Buys My Wife.
Yeah, I mean, you know it's bad when at 21, nearly 22 minutes in, you're actually overextended at your own red buff. That's not a good position to be in.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure on BRGR here just to try and get away. There's a fantastic flash from the Sig. They're getting a very easy kill onto that Lulu. That's a fantastic play. Ayan diving into this tower, going onto Mod here, just going to get the Victor kill. He uses the ult, but he just manages to get away, lands the Q, and he goes down. Coco manages to slow him just to keep him away under the Nexus turret. Meanwhile, the Manatee game are picking up the inhibitor tower, and they will be picking up the inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, arguably on a face value a slightly greedy play by Ian, but it did allow his team a lot of time to easily take.
Yeah, Imp gets stopped by Flashy's Tornado, and Coco manages to get the slow, but the Salt meanwhile just kind of spits him away. They're going to turn it around onto Coco. Coco deals some damage, and Imp obviously goes down. They tried to bait that out, I think, and it didn't quite work. We've got Mod coming around the side as Sig actually TP's in, and the Salt will be going down to this, there's no getting out of that. But it does manage to pick up the Nunu meanwhile, so that was worth something, I suppose. So greedy for Coco to stay around and end up dying there.
Yeah, slightly messy fight, but I mean, it was fairly even. I think Blue Side will take anything they can get at this point. Even an even trade is a good one. However, they did lose the inhibitor, and I think probably the rest of their base is soon to follow.
Yeah, it's not looking good for BRGR at the moment. We've got Drake coming up in 2 minutes. I don't know if Manatee Gaming even need to bother sort of warding or applying any pressure to that. They've still got... has Baron now gone? No, they've still got Baron for about another 20 seconds, so we probably can't do a lot with that. But they've managed to secure a middle inhibitor, however. So they can very easily just do the split push that they have been doing. Put Fiora in one lane, put TF in another lane, and yeah, then keep Lee Sin, Vayne, and the Tom Kench in the middle lane, just to keep the BRGR side from actually sticking in their base. There's not a lot they can do about this at all.
I think also not getting a single dragon when you've got a Nunu jungle is pretty rough, to be honest. I would have expected him to go for that slight, as maybe an early play, because Nunu is more than capable of doing that. But I think Ian has been too much of a strong presence, just made it too difficult to do.
Yeah, in fact we've got Sig actually ulting in, trying to get Coco. Coco's going to run away with Blood Boil and should be fine. Sig is just still chasing though. He's going to go top side now. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of moving around in the mid-side base, and yeah, Ian's coming around. Going to try and look to get flank on Buys My Wife. Meanwhile, Lucky Bopper is getting this tower. Assault manages to grab him to get him away from the gravity field. Janna shield on the turret, not going to do a lot. And that is the... Janna, So that is... No, the turret is not going to go down. They managed to save that. Unlucky Bopper missing a couple auto attacks there, and down goes Iron, down goes Assault. And Sig will soon follow. Managed to possibly get the kill on Buys My Wife. Imp comes in. Well, Sig uses Bazonius to save himself. Imp is doing a lot of damage suddenly. Coco's running away. Sirius is running away. Thrashy's running away. Mod manages to fight off Unlucky Bopper. So, yeah, that was a 4-for-2 for... that was a... 4-for-2. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. 3-for-2. It was looking good for BRGR up until that point, and now 3-for-2. Another inhibitor tower goes down. Unlucky Bopper's going to try and get this inhib. Should be able to get it without too much problem, and then escape. So yeah, 2 inhibitors down. 3-for-2. Unlucky Bopper gets slowed down by Coco. Mod manages to miss the Victor laser, and Unlucky Bopper should be able to get out of that.
Yeah, I mean, Imber's picked up his Blade of the Ruin King, his Phantom Dancer, and the Quicksilver Sash for good measure has well and truly arrived to the party and showing it in fine fashion. Absolutely demolishing, just literally walking through the team.
Yeah,
No,
now
everyone's too
Imp
scared
is
to even go close
actually
to him.
getting flanked here, so they may be able to stop it. Sirius does not know where Vayne is, unfortunately, though, and she's going to get out. Assault gets possibly caught again into the gravity field, and that is a very low health Tom Kench. And yeah, that shield is not going to save you, unfortunately.
I mean, obviously, we have seen.
Doesn't get it.
Is it going to be a kill over? Yeah, it will be.
See gets a very easy kill on Jinx. If the Jinx is left on her own, if you're running a Jugger Jinx comp, you leave her on your own like that, TF will just ult right in and just kill her straight away. You can't do that. Meanwhile, Imp gets kill on Coco. The tornado from Thrash, he just manages to save Sirius's life here. Meanwhile, Sig is running up. Will he get the gold card? He flashes right into the Lulu's Q, slow him down. Unfortunately, he doesn't manage to get that, but Imp will be getting a good amount of damage on the start.
Wow.
Mod comes in and insta-kills Sig, though. That was fantastic flash. And manages to get a kill on Imp. This is going to be a good amount of gold coming in, at least for Mod, and they actually managed to bring back the gold lead little by little. Unfortunately, it is still a 10,000 gold lead, but there's a triple kill for Mod, and Mod is actually on fire today. 823. He is putting as much on his back as he possibly can with his team, trying to make it a win.
Yeah, Thrashy had actually moved over the Zeeks onto Mod there, and obviously they went in as soon as he got that extra 20% AP and absolutely started blowing people up. That was a really, really smart move. I don't know whether they've done it just because Vi my wife was down at the time, or whether it's a more calculated play to try and get something out of this game.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, as we've been saying, it's still 11,000 gold lead. They're going to be looking to get another dragon here. Nunu is looking to come round, and they are actually going to let it go. So it may actually be that the RGR at least managed to pick up a single drink. There is still going to be some pressure, and in fact, yeah, the rest of the team is coming in from Manti Gaming. So again, they managed to keep on moving that dragon. And meanwhile, during this, my wife is trying to hold back this very, very strong Fiora. So yep, that is another dragon for Manatee Gaming, and that's the third one. So movement speed. With the movement speed, it just means that there's more ways to escape the team that doesn't have a huge amount of hard engage.
Baron is being pinged down now as well, so it looks like they're just looking to completely finish them off at this point.
Yeah, so they've caught out Coco. No getting away from this at all. Coco is well and truly dead as soon as she spat out on the Tom Kench. There we go. And that is very easy Baron for Manatee Gaming. With this, they should be able to push into place. We'll see if they can win it. Obviously, got to get through the mod, who is very strong right now. But with the ability power, with the magic resistance the minions get, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I think they can. I think Manatee Gaming can just afford to send Unlucky Bopper top with the Baron buff, just completely split, push that down. While the remaining members just take out the open inhibitors. And I don't think the blue side's Nexus is the one for this rift.
Now, to be honest, they've done well to kind of hold up this one, given how far behind they already were. They are still obviously holding out. Obviously, Manatee Gaming have backed. They are now grouping up in the mid lane. Unlucky Bopper doesn't have teleports, so might be a bit late to the party. But even so, Manatee Gaming just take out the jungle and keep as much away from the coffers of the RGR as possible.
It looks like the Zeke's Harbinger is still tethered to the Victor as well, so it looks like they may have altered their composition from a Jugger Jinx to a Jugger Victor composition.
Yeah, so at this point, that's about what you can do really, is just hope that the huge ability power can keep them off. Coco uses the ultimate just to keep Manatee Gaming away from the inhibitor. There is a lot of damage going on Sig, and Sig goes right down. But Zeke's really working out in Victor's favour here. There's a Jinx ult coming in, going to pick up the soul, and they're going to be able to keep on going. They're going to get a kill on possibly Imp. There's Aeon goes in, manages to land the ult, Imp goes in and manages to condemn away, and buys my picks up kill. There is a lot going on here, and Aeon is slowly going to be going down as well. They didn't pick up another kill, and Manatee Gaming have suddenly just kind of thrown that out the window a little bit. Fortunately, Unlucky Bopper has managed to survive with a Baron buff, but that was a really poor team fight there for a team that is so far ahead.
I think again it was they waited until the Zeke's was about to pop, and the Victor just absolutely let loose. You know, completely started nuking the front line and just completely paved the way to the back line, just tore them to pieces.
Yeah, that Zeke's is really working out for him. Obviously, a lot of AP going on there.
I don't think they get too much out of it because they're going to be a little bit too busy defending their base.
But I think they're just happy to have any goal, quite honestly. When you're looking at a Fiora who's rocking the sword of your cult. Unfortunately, they didn't get the kill on her, but any cause is a good cause to ensure you've got enough damage to deal with that. The Assault is going to try and catch out Sirius. Sig manages to use his ult, get a bit of vision down, comes in, they're going to catch Sirius out. The gravity field is fantastic from Mod, manages to pick him off. Doesn't manage to get the kill. Unlucky Bopper picks up kill on Sirius meanwhile, but Sig took a bit of damage there from Mod. Mod trying to attack Unlucky Bopper. Sig lands the thing, but it's still not enough. Unfortunately, Mod doesn't manage to pick up a kill. Meanwhile, Unlucky Bopper manages to pick a kill in return. So that is 2 for 1 overall. Sig, who's a lot of AP damage, does manage to go down though. Unfortunately, we've got to deal with a lot of physical damage now from Manatee Gaming.
I think their resources are going to be spread a little bit too thinly trying to defend this base, though. I think the inhibitors are going to go down.
Yeah, so we're looking at the third inhib going down very shortly. Quite honestly, Unlucky Bopper is taking a lot of damage though. Vi is my wife is starting to get quite strong. Taking another shot there. Ayan comes in, going to try and land the ultimate onto Vi is my wife. Doesn't do a fair bit of damage though. Coco uses the ult to keep people away. Jinx ult comes out, and Imp is very low, going to go down. Oh, Tom Kench managed to save him. He's going to get out now, he gets slowed. Imp is going to get out though, hopefully. Obviously, Salt goes down, speed boost comes in for Vi is my wife. Teleport on on Sig comes in. Managed to get cancelled there. It's another kill for Vi is my wife. Vi is my wife is starting to become very strong. Obviously, they've got to deal with 3 inhibs down, but it's getting increasingly harder and harder for Manatee Gaming to actually come in.
I was going to say, it seems like Manatee Gaming are perhaps making this a little bit harder for themselves than they need to. The kills are almost level at this point, but there is still a 10k gold deficit.
Yeah, obviously you've got the giant CS difference in that top lane. Fiora almost at 300 CS in comparison to Lulu's 146. Half the CS against a Fiora.
Not to mention the score as well, 0-9 on the Lulu as opposed to 5-1 on the Fiora.
Yeah, so that top side is really what is making the difference here by the looks of it. The CS difference overall, in fact, for Lulu and for Fiora, you've got 8.5k on Lulu and 14.5k on Fiora, 6,000 difference.
That's obviously the Mercurial Scimitar just coming out onto Fiora, just been picked up by Unlucky Bopper. Perhaps looking to just charge straight through the Victor ultimate. Obviously, Riposte clearly wasn't enough this game. She felt she needs more protection.
Yeah, as many abilities blocked as possible.
Looking to block literally everything.
Yeah, so BRG are managing to defend their base. There is a ward in their base, however, but there's not a lot of backdooring that can really go on there, so that's not too much of a problem. Manatee Gaming are looking around the red side, just trying to see what they can scope out. Don't manage to find anything, but get some vision down. And yeah, it's just about kind of pushing it in now, really. Trying to see if they can win a fight that will just at least kill enough people that they can take the base. Fortunately, Vi is my wife has a lot of wave clear. Mod is strong enough that even against super minions he can kill the wave fairly reasonably. So Manatee Gaming have to find a fight, but I imagine they're probably just going to look for this next Baron that comes up. Obviously Drake is going to go down to Unlucky Bopper. You've got 1 minute and 20 seconds on Baron. They are in the base though, so we might see what can be done. Obviously, there's a lot of minions coming in now, so they can try something. Coco trying to just keep them all back. Sig lands wild cards on a couple of them, deal a little bit of damage.
I was going to say, I mean, the competition on blue side does have a lot of wave clear with the Victor, with the Lulu, with the Jinx.
Yeah. Oh, so Mod gets a lot of damage on Sig. Sig pops the Zonias, just trying to save himself. Vi is my wife, lands the ultimate onto Lee Sin. Sig goes down, and Unlucky Bopper is taking a lot of damage. Coco is channeling his ult, manages to get a bit of damage down, but he's already dead. Sirius putting out some damage whilst Imp manages to pick up a kill on Coco. Meanwhile, Vi is my wife picks up a kill on the Soul, as opposed to Tom Kent down. AN is low on health, but Unlucky Bopper is trying to do what he can with his full health. He's still got QSS, So he's dealing a fair amount of damage, and he's not scared to go in there. Mod really needs to back out. Sirius needs to back out. Thrashy is far too low. Vi's My Wife is the only one who's got any health at all on BRGR. Tower goes down. Vi's My Wife goes down. Fantastic insect AN. And the next tower is going to go down. Trashy goes down to Fiora. And this is GG for Manatee Gaming.
Very
managed to pick up the victory kill there as well.
Yeah, it's a very comprehensive victory by Manatee Gaming. A really impressive display. Great early jungle pressure. Obviously, allowing the AD carry to farm up, get the items she needed just to turn up at the right time. The QSS on the Fiora with the riposte, she isn't going to get trapped by anything. So I think it was a case of not if, but when.
Yeah, so really we were kind of looking at a game that was decided from about 10-15 minutes in, and it was a case of waiting and seeing what would end up happening with it, really. Obviously, there were points where Manatee Gaming had a bit of a sloppy fight, and BRGR could have possibly come back into it, but given how far behind they were, there was only so much they could do. They managed to get the goal difference right down to 10,000, which, given how far behind they were, is something. But there's only so much gold you can work with, obviously.
Yeah, I think that's largely thanks to Mod on Victor. That was a really impressive display. Had a good amount of CS, a good amount of gold, also had the highest damage in the game by about 10,000. He did a lot of work that game, and he was probably the sole reason for them staying in as long as they did. With that, Zeke's harboring him, obviously waiting for Jinx to turn up. He got a lot of work done.
Yeah, he did, yeah. I would definitely say MVP for this game would go to AN, though he did a lot in terms of getting his lanes ahead and really securing that early lead that managed to make them win the game. It's a shame Mod couldn't manage to do everything and keep his team back, keep his team kind of in a winning scenario. Vi's My Wife managed to pick up a lot of kills and managed to do a lot with that. And Trashy did obviously try his best to actually save his team, but there's only, as we said, only so much you can actually do when the opposing team is that far ahead.
Yeah, I think the amount that Mod would have needed to carry would have been pretty astronomical, to be honest, for them to get back in the game into a truly commanding position. Although they were winning fights, they just weren't getting out of their base.
Yeah, the time the towers all went down, there was only so much they could actually do, really. So yeah, we've got about 3 minutes or so, 4 minutes before the next game starts. So yeah, we'll be back shortly. Hello again, and welcome back to House Party EU West 5v5. We had a very, very convincing win there for Manatee Gaming against BRGR, and we are just coming into the second game now. We've got Lulu ban coming out, and Lee Sin ban straight away, because Iron looked absolutely fantastic on that, to be perfectly honest. Can't fault them for banning that at all.
It'll be interesting to see if they still stick with the Elise ban. Obviously, Iron is very proficient on Elise as well as Lee Sin, so it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, Ion definitely looked like the main thing that kind of won them the game last time. Obviously, Unlucky Bopper did get ahead as Fiora, and Sig was doing a fair amount of damage as TF. Imp was doing good, but Iron was definitely the showstopper for that one. Only one ban focused on him, which was the Lee Sin, so there is the Elise to actually be picked up there. But yeah, they don't want to deal with Tom Kench, they don't want to deal with Fiora, so that's straight up banned.
Yeah, I mean, it's very reactive bans as well. Obviously, you see Lee Sin, Tom Kench, and Fiora, arguably extremely strong picks from the previous game. So
there we go. We've got the Elise ban, the Elise pick rather. So yeah, we definitely saw that one coming. With Iron's Lee Sin ban, why not just take Elise if you're going to leave that one open? BRGR managed to reply with Rek'Sai, but we'll see whether that's enough. Iron, as we said, very strong on Elise, so it'll be interesting to see what he can actually end up doing with that. Rumble hover there for Cirrus. Not sure how that will fare. Obviously, Rumble's very strong. He's not very meta though. When you've got to deal with champions like Garen, Darius in the top lane, he's very rough and very hard to actually deal with anything with.
Yeah, not the greatest 1v1 champion, but still a very stable pick, you know, good for team comps.
Yeah, so like, if they do end up picking the Rumble, if they do go for team fights and stuff like that, it will work out probably, but they need a very, very team fight orientated team. So yeah, they do lock in the Rumble.
I'm slightly surprised at the Lulu ban, considering how much gold was actually offered up by Lulu in the previous game. I wouldn't have thought that would have been a very priority ban for them, but clearly they feel differently.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just didn't want to have to deal with a Jugger comp. Obviously, toward the end of the game, despite the huge gold lead, the Lulu with the ultimate and the shields, as we said, as far behind as Lulu can get, if you are a utility champion, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's why things like Elise tank worked, is because the Cocoon provided so much utility before it got nerfed, obviously. It still does work to some extent, so we may well see Unlucky Bopper actually pick up Cinderhulk rather than Runeglaive, but I imagine it'll be Runeglaive. So yeah, I guess that's why they banned Lulu, is just basically ensure that we don't have that utility that can possibly give them that late game edge. If they don't get so far ahead this time, it may well be that BRGR could have brought that one back very easily. So we've got Renekton and a brown pick there coming in for Manatee Gaming. We've got a Jinx Hover on BRGR. So yeah, they may well just go back to that. Vi is my wife, was obviously showing towards the mid and late game, but he's actually pretty good with Jinx. So we may well see that actually comes out. A Jinx and Sivir hover here, so one of them probably won't be picked.
I mean, I think the Renekton pick is pretty standard against Rumble. You know, he's a big early game bully, a brilliant duelist, someone who can, maneuver around the ultimate well. So I think that's a very solid pick against it. I think Elise and Braum, Elise certainly is like an S tier jungle pick right now, really top tier. Braum's pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, Braum's very good against kind of the poke comps. May well have worked out better against like the Lulu and the Jinx that we had before. The Victor as well, you can soak up a lot with that shield. I think it will still work fine. They've gone fairly melee, BRGR have, aside from the Sivir. Obviously, Braum can block the Bouncing Blade, can block the Boomerang as well. So there's still stuff that Braum can block, but a lot of it might not. The Braum doesn't provide an awful lot, essentially.
I guess
we can see.
I mean, it provides a form of disengage. It's it's a good answer to the Rumble ultimate as well, and it's going to augment it very nicely with the Victor. One thing I will say is obviously the Rek'Sai is going to augment Yasuo, mod on Yasuo extremely well. It's going to make those ultimates very easy to land. Point and click knock up. Well, Yasuo doesn't want that in their comp.
Yeah. So Imp goes back onto Vayne. I don't see a problem with that at all. Very competent Vayne. Sig picks up Victor this time rather than going for TF. Basically saying, if you think you did good mod as Victor, wait till you see what I've got. And lastly, we've got the support pick, which is an Alistair. So interesting to see last pick support, but there we go. Thrashly on Alistair. Again, more knockups for the Yasuo. So if mod can get ahead like he did last game, this can actually be quite a bloodbath very quickly. Renekton shouldn't have a problem in top lane. Elise is a very good pick for Iron. Iron should hopefully be able to apply as much pressure as he did last time. Get a lot of kills in there. Sig will be a farm lane. Imp will be a farm lane. So yeah, we'll just got to wait for the game to start up, obviously, and we'll kind of see how it all pans out. That's how I'm expecting it to go. But as we saw last game, things went slightly differently to how I expected, in that Fiora got insanely ahead of Lulu, whereas you'd expect Lulu, being ranged, to sort of be able to hold up against Fiora. But anything can happen effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could certainly use the adjective catastrophic. A very catastrophic early game for BRGR. You know, Iron really gave them a hard time. It's interesting. Again, it looks like they have opted to put a lot of their strength into the Yasuo, as they tried to with the Jinx in the previous game. Arguably, a Yasuo comp is a bit easier to pull off, but you've still got to get the right people in the knockup. It's not just enough to get the Braum. It's not just enough to get the Elise. And it could prove quite difficult if they play their cards right.
It really depends on how Coco managed to get any ganks off and how Thrashy managed to get any headbutt pulverizes. If he can get a good one and knock up 3 or 4, fantastic. That should, as long as they're sort of even in gold, that should be an easily won fight for BRGR. Obviously, MG play, they can try and sort of fight around the Victor kind of zone that he actually provides. We've got a good amount of kind of actual fighting with at least on Cocoon. We've got Imp on Vayne, who can provide a lot of sort of sustained damage throughout the fights themselves. They're not very tanky, the Manatee Gaming. Obviously, Renekton starts to get tanky, but early on, I think it might actually be quite punishable. So we'll see if Coco on Rek'Sai manage to try and do anything with that.
I also think that teleport isn't going to be as big of a factor this game, perhaps, as it was last game. We don't have the Twisted Fate. Neither mid laner has opted to take teleport. You've got Exhaust on Victor and Ignite on Yasuo. And the Renekton has every possibility of cancelling the Rumble's TP if he uses it unsafely. So I think it's going to be a slightly more cagey game in some respects. I think people are going to stick to their lanes, and I don't think we're going to see a lot of these, you know, cross map plays that we were seeing last game.
Yeah, so I feel that mod kind of took TP on the Victor last game as an answer to the fact that they had a Twisted Fate, because obviously Twisted Fate applies a lot of map pressure, and they needed an answer to that. But I think mod, given how well he played in that last game, I think on more of a fighting champion, we'll see how that transitions, but I think he might actually be quite comfortable on that, and I think he may well be able to do something good here.
Yeah, it's just a case of seeing exactly how broad are Mod's shoulders. I mean, is he going to need to carry this game again? They've got a lot more information on Manatee Gaming this time around. They've done a lot of reactive bans. They've banned out Lee Sin, which I think was probably the right thing to do, as Iron was an absolute monster on that. But it'll be interesting to see how they react to the Elise, because we know he's a good Elise. You know, we've seen it on his ranked solo Q stats.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting coming into this game, seeing what Manatee Gaming actually have planned for the early game. As I said, they're fairly vulnerable, but obviously Elise provides a lot, so I don't think that Coco will actually be doing any invading or anything like that, and I think Iron might actually try and do something with that. But if anything goes wrong, it can go wrong quite fast for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the early game plan for BRGR is to not die over and over again to Iron in the jungle.
Yeah, Rumble, stay as safe as you possibly can. Just farm. You've got your harpoons. As long as you don't go in too close with your Flamespitter that you end up dying, you should be okay. Just lose a bit of CS, stay alive. It will be worth it overall.
We thought that Lulu would be able to stay safe. It was not the case, unfortunately.
That's the thing. So I don't know. Maybe Sirius took one death and then just went on full tilt from there. Hopefully, Sirius has kind of relaxed a little bit. gotten back into the game and will actually be able to put quite a good Rumble sort of fight out. I really love watching Rumbles play. A Rumble main myself, so it's always interesting to kind of watch good Rumbles play Rumble. So I'll be really interested to see how this all kind of works out, whether he manages to actually put up much fight against Renekton, because as we're expecting, Renekton should win the lane. But if Coco manages to get out a good gank for Sirez, it could quite easily turn the tide there.
Yeah, I mean, Renekton can be quite slippery. You know, when he hits 6, he gets very tanky. He does have sustain in lane. However, pre-6, he can be vulnerable. He can be squishy. It just depends how the early trades tend to go. Usually, Renektons don't lose out in those early trades. So we'll have to see how he plays around the overheat, perhaps, and you know, just sees how he manages to pull out some damage onto Unlucky Bopper.
Yeah, so we should hopefully be going in soon. On my screen, we're just waiting for Thrashy to kind of load up. Obviously, Spectate kind of gets a bit confused with that sometimes, so we might just be waiting in general. Yeah, I mean, looking at the teams, certainly BRGR, they are planning on team fighting, absolutely. Rumble, you've got the Equalizer, you've got Mod on the Yasuo, if he can land a couple knockups, or if Alistair on can headbutt Pulverize, get a couple people knocked up, if Coco on the Rek'Sai can knock a couple people up, they can do anything like that, and Mod can follow that up. Meanwhile, they can chain that with the Equalizer on top. They've also got Vi's My Wife on Sivir for the huge engage. If they can do anything with that tool, it can actually be quite explosive fights going on.
I think also, I mean, BRGR have shown that the later the game went on, I mean, they showed hints at getting back into it. Perhaps if they'd have won team fights that weren't, you know, at the door to their Nexus, they might have been able to do something about it. And hopefully that's shown them that if they can survive this early game, if they can nullify the threat of Iron with some wards, with some intelligent, safe play, then they can reach that late game and really take the fight to Manatee Gaming.
That's the thing, though. Sure, we can say that BRGR last game had quite a late game composition. Obviously, they had Jinx, they had Victor. But then, if you looked at Manatee Gaming, they had Fiora, who's really good at late game split pushing. You had Vayne, who's really good at late game 1v1ing. In that, they both had quite good scaling. I would say that BRGR had more of a good scale, though. But how convincingly BRGR managed to win some of those fights. If they hadn't had such a bad gold lead, it could have really turned the game on its head, really. So we've loaded in here for me, at least, anyway. So hopefully we should get underway shortly.
But yeah, it will be. I think it will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they react to the early game this time round. They've identified Iron as a threat, but it'll be interesting to see, you know, how well they actually react to it.
Yeah, on the Elise, will he try and do an invade? Will he do anything like that? We've got some red pings going in there, so they are planning on getting some wards down just so they can try and see where Iron is. Try and see if we do any lane swaps or anything like that as well. Obviously, we saw the lane swap that put the 2 bot lanes actually in the top lane, which kind of nullified the dragon pressure that we could try and do. We couldn't really secure anything with that.
No, as you can see, I mean, Unlucky Bopper has actually gone to try and secure some vision on the top side, but the majority of the blue side are on that bot side jungle.
Yeah, you've just got Unlucky Bopper just kind of sitting in the bot push there on the top side river. Nothing too much happening. Sig just got a bit of damage off, that's about it really. So they at least know that they're there. Coco and Sirez are heading up into the red side jungle. Unlucky Bopper has put a ward in the dot bush, so we'll actually spot both of those out. They managed to get a ward in there themselves. They're going to try and do some kind of invade, so yeah. Manatee Gaming know what the plan is for BRGR, and they're just going to let them take that blue if they try and take it, which they don't, they just get a ward down, so that's fair enough. And then they'll probably return back to their red side and try and do the double jungle and actually see if they can get Rumble with the early advantage and experience before Renekton can do the same. I have a feeling that a Renekton and Elise should be able to clear it much faster, so it might not work too well, but we can wait and find out.
Elise has got arguably the safest clear out of any jungler at the moment. Her Spylings, you know, can tank up a lot of the damage, and Renekton has a lot of sustain. So I think between the two of them, they're going to have a very safe, very fast clear.
Yeah, so Vayne and Realm are actually going to have a really easy time at clearing this crust. Ayan actually used his smite on it, so he can get the auto attack passive that he gets from smiting the Krugs, and that also just helps Imp and Vasalt actually manage to clear the camp. So they are going to be really ahead in experience right now. They only missed out on 1 CS, I think, and they got the experience from it. So this is a really good start for Imp and Vasalt.
So you got the Rumble solo in the top lane. Not sure whether he'll look to push it out. He did take Flame Spitter first, so he might just try and freeze it.
So I think it's if Unlucky Bopper just teleports in, which I imagine he will, he's not going to miss any experience. In fact, he's waiting in there, and there we go. Yeah, we get the TP. He's not going to miss out on too much experience. He's not going to miss out on too much farm. And yeah, they're both level 2. Rumble is halfway to level 3, but after this wave, Renekton may well be that as well. And we've got Iron clearing off blue buff. Meanwhile, Coco is actually looking to do something in the mid lane. Sig spots it out with a ward. Don't think that's going to accomplish anything much. Sig is looking way too careful right now, and Coco should know that something's up. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
Ayan might go top. No, it's not going to bother.
Yeah, obviously Iron applied a lot of early game pressure with that Lee Sin, pulled off some really crucial ganks and got his lanes ahead. I'm interested to see if he'll look to do the same this game, or whether he'll just look to farm up, get strong, and maybe group up. It's a slightly different competition this time around that having to play against.
Yeah. So there's a lot of damage going down on Thrashy actually. Obviously the brown passive and a couple auto attacks from Vayne doing wonders in terms of getting that damage out. Obviously we do have the sustain because Alistair has a lot of sustain with the Relic Shield and with the E, but there is a gank coming in top lane. Zero's already has to use his flash just to try and get away from that. Iron manages to come in and scare him off a little bit there. So yeah, that's a good start for the Manatee Gaming.
Yeah, obviously burning the flash top lane, they might be trying to focus on Cyrus from the previous game, really camp him into the ground, get him on a similar score to what he had last game, and look to snowball Unlucky Bopper and Iron again.
I mean, yeah, if it works last time, why not do it again, really? There's a bit of damage going down onto Imp. Oh, the Salt gets pushed into tower. That's going to be a fair amount of damage. Manages to jump out into Imp. It's a good amount of damage, but all the same, and that evened up the trade that was looking lost for the RGR. Coco is coming in for a gank. He gets spotted by a ward, but he can just ignore that and go straight in. I think he's got enough time. Salt manages to land the Q. Imp pushes him away, doesn't get the stun. Coco leaves. Nothing too much happening there.
A very disciplined display from Salt and holding on to that flash. He got knocked under the tower and the Chilling Smite did come down, but he still managed to hold on to the Summoner. Opting to take Ignite again, so perhaps looking to make some more aggressive plays and get him, snowballed so he can show off a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so they obviously Imp and Vasalt did manage to get a fair amount of damage down onto Lies My Wife and Thrashley, but as we said, with the Relic Shield, with the health potions, with the Alistair heal, there's not too much you can do. Coco is looking to do a counter gank here, or rather Iron's looking to do a counter gank, and instead manages to find Coco, lands a stun, does a bit of damage, not going to get too much though, so Rek'Sai is very safe jungle there and just tunnels away.
Obviously, yeah, the tunnel's going to get removed straight away, but interesting that the junglers are taking similar paths and trying to pull off ganks here and tug up each other fairly well there.
Going in for a lane gank. Obviously, Coco had actually a really good route to go in and just gank Imp and Assault. Waited too long, Iron spotted him out, and it was almost a shame that it happened that way, because if Iron hadn't shown up, I think they could have done something good there.
Yeah, I'm obviously just keeping my eye on Coco here. He did look like he might have wanted to go in for a gank there, but thought better against it. Just going to go continue with his clear on, but it does look like that Mod... No, he's just placing a ward, but he might be roaming up top, but he's decided against it.
But if you actually look at gold difference, Mod is winning by a good 10 plus CS here, and so Sig might actually have a bit of a problem if this keeps going on like this. Sirius is fighting Unlucky Bopper just a little bit there. Nothing too much though. Sirius has got Doran Shield and an Amplifying Tome and Ruby Crystal, so it has a bit of survivability, but not insane amounts. Just get the pink ward down so you can stay safe.
As expected as well, Renekton is really controlling that CS wave. Cirrus is down 15 CS. Might when as Unlucky Bop has gone back, will probably clear some of that deficit, but obviously for the time being, I think the trend is swinging as we expected in favour of Unlucky Bop on Renekton.
Yeah, well, it's apart from Siglu being down a bit CS against Mod, all the other lanes are winning in CS, so it's looking like it's spin into Manatee Gaming's favour in total. Coco is showing up bottom, he's not letting himself be known just yet, but it's hard to get any kind of lane gank in when they're pushed up like this.
I think with the Braum and Vayne as well, you've got a surprising amount of turnability. Once the Braum gets that passive off, you know the Vayne's going to be following it up with the with the 3 Silver Bolt procs. That with the stun is going to cause a lot of damage, so you got to be careful. Even when you're 3v2, that can be turned around pretty quickly. Yeah,
it might be quite tough to be honest. We're looking like in fact, Imp has just got his level 6, and Salt is close to it. Obviously, top and middle have got it, but Iron's in a sticky situation here. He's been knocked up by knocked up again by Thrashy. Mod didn't manage to get an ult off the entire time, managed to flash out, managed to get the heat off of him, and he might well just get away from this. The Salt managed to disengage. That is really unfortunate for the RGR there. They may well just manage to get away from this. Unlucky Bop comes in, teleports in, manages to get a lot of damage on Mod. Mod gets the ultimate off. There's a lot of damage coming out from both sides here. Iron really goes low, but manages to pick up 2 kills. Iron repels up, they're going to get a fair amount of damage. They're going to get him stun on from Thrashy, and that is a 3rd kill. Mod manages to pick up the kill on Elise with the Ignite, but 3 for 1. Manatee Gaming are going to be really happy with that.
That was absolutely stellar play by Iron there. Got himself completely caught out, actually got spotted on a ward, but still manages to pull that one out. I thought he was dead to rights, but I thought he wasted his flash completely. But obviously Salt coming up there, and Imp coming up with the heal, with the Braum shield, providing just enough to get him out of there. Great TP down from Unlucky Bopper, perhaps altered slightly early, but they turned that fight fantastically well.
Yeah, I mean, it was very good. The fact that Unlucky Bopper has been managed to kind of push Cirrus out of lane as well was really kind of what won that. Just the fact that Cirrus did not have teleport. When you've got a Rumble and you've got with a Rumble, you are such a team fighting team, and if you can't get that Rumble to actually get down and team fight, it's just really risky to even try and fight. Honestly, I know they were trying to chase that kill on Aeon when he got away on barely anything, but if he gets away, you maybe got to let it go and don't keep chasing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well the teleport advantage on Renekton is so huge in this matchup because the Rumble's got no way of stopping that teleport once that goes down, and Bop is easily going to be tanky enough to get the full channel off.
Yeah, only saving grace really is that Mod did manage to pick up a kill, which obviously is, by the looks of it, is kind of what the RGR are actually kind of wanting to do. They're wanting to get Mod ahead. He was the main kind of damage dealer at least for the mid game of the RGR last game. In fact, there was a very kind of easy kill actually there for the RGR. They managed to pick that up, get a Rek'Sai knock-up, and follow that up with the Equalizer. We've got Seek coming in, try and see if we can make any reparations with that along with Iron, but we're just going to apply some pressure onto the tower instead. Meanwhile, Mod will be getting mid tower, so it's a bit of a loss overall for Manatee Gaming. Obviously, they're getting a fair amount of damage onto the tower. Sirius gets Cocoon, they get a lot of amount of damage down with Sig on the Victor. He does manage to flash away, but he does go down to the Elise Q. Rek'Sai is sitting under the tower, but meanwhile, bottom lane, they've managed to just keep pushing things up. Mod has come up now, trying to see if he can salvage anything out of this. Doesn't manage to actually dash over the Krugs, so unfortunately that's not going to be much. But Iron misses the Cocoon, Coco will tunnel out. Iron managed to actually chase after though. Oh, but the knockup comes in from Mod. Mod manages to pick up that kill. Iron obviously does manage to pick up the revenge kill just before he goes down onto Coco. Sig flashes out, Mod keeps chasing. It's gonna land that. Keeps doing a fair amount of damage. Sig can't really do a lot now, and obviously goes down. We've got Unlucky Bopper with Renekton chasing after. Does get knocked up by Mod. Mod picking up 2 kills there. Very nice.
Yeah, obviously great display there by Mod, but as previously mentioned, that how the Rek'Sai really augments the Yasuo. Probably just as well he failed that dash over the wall. It really allowed him to come in and take them by surprise. I think perhaps them hanging around in the jungle trying to take a Rek'Sai by surprise with the Tremor Sense wasn't the smartest idea, but I think they would have had a harder time getting out rather than, I think staying to fight was probably the better option, but
Yeah,
they
of course.
unfortunately didn't come out on top.
So, Unlucky Bopper's Pink Ward will go down, but he does replace it with his Trinket. Coco looking around the mid lane. Obviously we did see kind of sort of what we were expecting. We managed to see Rek'Sai knock up and Yasuo follow that up with the ult. But meanwhile, it looks like Managing Gaming are trying to take a dragon. So actually goes in with the Alistair W. He does manage to get a knock up, but Mod can't follow that up with his ultimate, but they do manage to pick up a kill on him. And this is going to be a dragon coming in for DRGR. They pick that up. Alistair manages to pick that up, in fact. They did not have smite, so that was very close indeed.
Yeah, that was fantastic play by Thrashy there. Zoned Imbolc from the rest of his team, kept him in the Dragon Pit, while the Dragon was actually being a bit of a bro, DPSing him down the whole time and really making that quite an easy pickup for them.
Yeah, so it looks like Thrashy and Coco are going to try and flank round onto Sig, get the knock-up onto him, so then they can follow up with Mod's on. Kill, yeah, that's a very easy kill, yeah. Thrashy just managed to get away, Ayan is coming in, so Mod is in a little bit of trouble, but managed to get away, doesn't get the Realm Stun on him, and should be able to get away with that. Not too much of a problem. He does have Ignite, so he's trying to look to see if he can do a fair amount of damage onto Iron. Oh, some damage comes out though from him. Mod is looking really strong right now. Managed to get another knock-up with Rek'Sai onto Iron. Iron goes down, Basalt will soon follow. Manages to flash away, but Rek'Sai Q finishing him off there.
Yeah, meanwhile
there's
in the
a fight
top lane.
in bottom lane, meanwhile, and Im managed to pick up kill on Sivir. So Manatee Gaming at least managing to bring something out of that. But Mod is getting very, very strong. As we said, we're expecting BRGR to funnel a lot of gold into Mod, and 611, that is a lot of gold.
Yeah, obviously a slight exchange in the top lane between Bopper and Sirius as well. Them coming out even on that one, but it looks like he may go down.
Both ultimates were burnt, but Sirius not respecting Unlucky Bopper at all. He overheats, puts his Q out, says, oh, I'll get a bit of damage on you, but Unlucky Bopper just says, fine, I'll just slice some dice, stun, and you're dead. What are you planning on doing?
So much for being even.
Yeah, so it was looking alright. Obviously, Unlucky Bopper is ahead in the CS. But that's the kind of plays that BRGR really don't need when they are managing to actually have a lead.
I think as well.
Mod goes right in onto Sig. TP comes out for Unlucky Bopper, but there's a lot of damage going down onto Sig, and that should hopefully, if Mod doesn't get stunned, which he does, Gravity Field has to take him out, but we've got a Rumble Teleport coming, which has helped us kill Rek'Sai picking up. The Assault also goes down. Iron on the flanks can't do anything at all. Mod picking up another kill and another assist. More gold in the bank. They are looking to push it down onto the inhibitor turret at 15 minutes, and Imp has to recall just to try and defend this.
Yeah, I think Mod has come up absolutely huge this game, making absolutely fantastic use of the Rek'Sai knock-up as well. Quite a few times it's been used to great effect. Fantastic TP in there as well by Sirius, a great use of that cooldown coming in. And I think they managed to get a tower out of that one as well, so overall an extremely good trade.
Yeah, so there's currently there's 2,000 gold lead for BRGR, so it's not insane, but the fact that all of it is on a really strong Yasuo is looking good. They managed to get a lot of damage on Thrashy's tanking an awful lot though. And meanwhile, Sirius seems to be trying to kill Imp and doesn't manage to do it. So a bit of split focus there, doesn't come out with anything. It was good. It was a good idea for Imp and Basalt to actually come up personally. That was very well read by them, and we managed to actually get a kill out of that, so very good. They should be able to get a tower out of this as well. Unfortunately, Mod did not have his ultimate at that time, so they couldn't try and follow it up. All the knockups that were coming in. So there's a top tower going down any second now. And meanwhile, rest of BRG are just defending it. We've got a Rek'Sai ultimate coming in. Coco is in a really bad situation here though. He's been flanked by Sig. Managed to put down the gravity field. Aeon lands a fantastic cocoon. They're getting a lot of damage down. There's a stun and Coco going down. That, again, it's the kind of plays that we're saying BRGR cannot do. If they're going to do anything like that, they're putting themselves in such a bad situation, they'll go straight down, and we've seen that Manatee Gaming will be punishing them. If they manage to pick up a tower, they get a fair amount of damage on the second tower. They back away because they know they're now in a bad situation, and BRGR are just losing it slowly. They've lost the lead that they actually managed to gain thanks to the good ganks that Mod managed to get.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're just putting more and more weight on Mod's shoulders. If they keep making plays like that, eventually this game is going to get away from them. I think Ceres has perhaps been a little bit too aggressive this game, and I think that was, an extremely aggressive ultimate by Coco. Definitely not what they were looking for.
So Unlucky Bottom tries to find a stun on Sivir. Sivir puts the spot shield out. Thrashy manages to keep nothing away. But Thrashy is going down here. The kill goes to Brown. Kill secured.
Again, I think there's a real lack of respect for Unlucky Bopper with the slice and dice. It can be cast twice. It provides a lot of pressure, and they're using it really, really well.
Yeah. So the thing was like, sure, you've got your ultimate, you've got your flash, you've got your heal. In the end, didn't even end up using any of it because Thrashy sacrificed himself. If someone's going to have to be sacrificed, you are in a bad position in the first place. Again, BRGR are just losing the lead that they've managed to improve. They pick up tower, it's good. That's managing to even the gold lead, at least they're only 1,000 gold behind. They have got 4 people in the top lane, so they're going to be looking to try and get this tower as well. There's not a quick response from Manatee Gaming, so they might be able to get this. But Unlucky Buffer is doing a lot of damage there. He's used his ultimate to try and get a bit of extra damage, a bit of extra health. Sig comes in, deals some damage onto the Rek'Sai. They are going to get away. They don't deal insane amounts of damage onto it. Meanwhile, Imb is pushing the bot lane, and there's only 025 Alistair with just a Sightstone and just a Relic Shield to actually try and defend against this. There's not a lot you can do. That tower may well go down.
Yeah, I think a lot of the damage that was put onto the top side of the map by BRGR was extremely free. I think Manatee Gaming reacted extremely slowly, to that move on the top side. Alternatively, as you mentioned, I think sending that Alistair down to try and stop him pushing that bot tower was not the smartest idea. Perhaps
I think the reason why they did it was because all of their team was up in the top side, whereas Thrashy had just recently died. So they kind of put Thrashy up down there just because someone had to be there. Fortunately, they did manage to keep the tower, and they did manage to get a tower in top, so it wasn't too bad overall. Obviously, Manatee Gaming are picking up their first Drake, so that evens the Drakes as well.
Yeah, so see a good pickup with the dragon. That does make it a dragon apiece at 20 minutes. Not a massive priority this game by either side. Obviously, in terms of objectives and kills, it's fairly even across the board, a slight gold deficit, but, a much more even early game than perhaps we had previously.
Yeah, so one good thing about the team that Manatee Gaming actually have, you've got a Runection who deals a lot of damage, you've got an Elise with Runeblade who deals a lot of damage, you've got a Victor who deals a lot of damage, and the Fed one on BRGR's team is Mod, who's on Yasuo, who is a very squishy, very frontline fighting champion. So if they can land just a little bit of CC on him when he's near the front, that is pretty much BRGR's main source of damage gone. They have a Rumble ult, sure that does a fair amount of damage, but pretty much everything is basically on Mod to try and survive and try and not die. And if they can get him down with this large amount of damage that Manatee Gaming actually have, that's pretty much BRGR's entire game just gone.
Yeah, obviously, with putting all your eggs in the Yasuo basket, it is really telegraphed where he's going to go. Once that knock-up's down, all you need to do is, get the Brawn passive on him, get the Victor ultimate down, even just a stun from, Unlucky Bopper. There's a lot that can blow that guy up very, very quickly. And I'm not sure, looking at the gold at the moment, that they have got the follow-up to make it count.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, we saw last game that Manatee Gaming actually picked up a 20-minute Baron. They have not opted to go for this time because they do not have an insane gold lead like we did. But Baron has spawned, so looking to see if there'll be some wards being put down, really. Try and ensure that each team can't sneak that. Meanwhile, we do have side lanes being pushed in. Imp is doing a fair amount of damage onto Vise My Wife. Vise My Wife has to flash away, use the ultimate and heal as well, just to try and get away. Imp did just literally pop the ult and the flash, just trying to see if he could chase that. Does still have the heal though, so that's one summoner up on Vise My Wife. Meanwhile, Mod is trying to flank. He will be able to try and catch Vayne, but no, Vayne will get away. So that's overall a win for him. Once the Vi flashed away though, possibly not worth flashing. Because Vayne, mind you, Vayne does have tumble, so you might be alright with that, honestly. But yeah, that is something.
I'm actually having a bit of technical difficulties here. It looks like on my screen everything's frozen. Is that the same for yourself?
It is the same for me, yeah. We'll have to see if that manages to sort itself out.
Hopefully it does sort itself out.
Yeah, it looked like something was just about to start happening.
Yeah, I mean the Rumble soundbite for myself is extremely annoying, so I do hope that gets sorted out rather quickly.
Yeah, for me it's not, but it looks like the stream... Oh no, I'm back. So yeah, okay, so Iron has picked up a kill onto Yasuo in the meantime, and Unlucky Bopper has picked up a kill onto Siraz on Rumble. It looks like Coco will be going down shortly to Unlucky Bopper. Unfortunately, I have frozen again. So
apologies for this.
We will see what happens. Yeah, apologies for problems with this. Quick look at the gold whilst we're waiting for this, because obviously there's not a lot else we can discuss. There's currently 3k gold lead onto Manatee Gaming, probably increased by more by the end of this fight, because I think Tashi will go down, Coco will also go down. So I am back in it now for a second, and now I'm gone again.
Well, as we can see, I mean, although we're not seeing a lot that's going on, it does look like that...
We are seeing people dying on the death recaps, at least.
It looks like Manatee Gaming are actually taking a lot of towers and pushing in a lot of the base.
Yeah,
however much we are getting to see.
I've reconnected for just a second again. Am I back completely this time? No. I'm very stuttery on this, I'm afraid. It does look like the Salt will go down, however, in the bot lane. Imp will probably go down as well, might be able to pick up a kill onto Fires My Wife if Fires My Wife doesn't manage to run away. But yeah, Salt should be going down. Yeah. Oh, we're back for another second.
Hopefully the cameraman isn't having quite the same problems as we are, so at least someone can see what's going on.
Rest in peace, the servers.
No, see, this is a problem on Riot's end rather than ourselves. It's
yeah, we'll blame
completely out of our control.
So yeah, as we said, the Salt and Imp did go down. Fires My Wife got low, but not a lot else came of that. Sirius is farming up in top lane. Mod is presumably applying some pressure in mid lane, but there is not a tower within the lane itself to actually take, so he probably won't get a lot for that. Iron can feasibly flank up from where he is to try and get the kill onto Mod. Obviously we will find out once we reconnect what ultimately ends up happening. So Mod doesn't die, a tower goes down in the bottom lane, so that's BRGR picking up some gold. I hear a Rek'Sai ultimate. It looks like Sirius is farming, so that's okay. Imp is dealing a fair amount of damage onto Coco. I think I might be back now, so we might be good.
We're back.
Okay, good. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to see Manatee Gaming actually pick up the second Drake here. Gold difference is about 3,000 gold now, so not an awful lot happened other than some kills on either side. From when we disconnected, a couple of towers on either side as well. So we saw BRGR lose their top tower, and we saw Manatee Gaming lose their bot tower. That's about all we missed, and I've gone again. I think no, I'm still back.
No,
so
we're still okay.
just wasn't moving.
Yeah, it looks like kills are still even. Slight turret deficit in favour of blue side.
Yeah, so Unlucky Bopper is getting a fair amount of damage on Sirius and onto Coco. Sirius will get hit by the Brown ultimate, and I've disconnected again. I imagine
We can only
what
assume
happens. I imagine
Sirius
what
has
happens
died.
is Sirius has died. Coco is soon to follow. There is a bit of a flank coming in from Mod and Sashi, and Vi's my wife. Imp has been kind of pushed back, so maybe Yasuo is chasing that right now. Okay, place your bets. Does Imp get out and live, or does he die?
Looking at him, I would say I think it would be kind of foolish if Mod did go after him, but I think there's probably more for him if he does go up the top, but...
Okay, well, see that Imp did in fact die, so I win. Meanwhile, Vi's my wife also died, Coco, as we said, died, and Sirius, as we said, died. Mod is very low on health, so can't really do a lot, and I now have a big warnings on my screen that says unable to download spectator data. The game will now exit.
Fantastic.
Good game, well played. Okay, whilst we try and sort out this technical difficulty, I will try and reconnect. I imagine not a lot will actually happen though, because
Baron will probably go down in favour of Manatee Gaming, but...
Yep, so we reckon Manatee Gaming will take Baron. I'm just trying to reconnect now just to see what we can find out. Whilst we wait, let me try and think. There is about 4,000 gold lead, gold difference now. But obviously, yeah, Manatee Gaming will pick up Baron. That's a fair amount of gold in their pockets. They will probably be able to push down that mid lane and actually get that tower there, and possibly trying to apply some pressure onto the actual inhibitor turrets to try and see what they can do with that.
Okay, I've managed to reconnect.
Yeah, so I've reconnected. They didn't manage to take Baron, but they are doing it right now. So hopefully the cameraman manages to reconnect soon. Although they're not going to get Baron. It looks like Coco and Sirius have managed to scare him off. And Sirius managed to pick up a kill onto Aeon, obviously jungler, so that actually keeps him away from Baron. Yeah, okay. I need to try and catch up now. Let's see what we've missed. Mid tower didn't go down. Coco picks up a kill onto Assault. More gold going towards BRGR. This is a much closer game for BRGR than last game. And in fact, Mod is going in onto Imp. Deals a lot of damage. Just misses the knock-up. Fantastic wind wall there. Managed to keep him back. Stop him dealing enough damage. Unlucky Bopper comes in. Unfortunately, Mod walks right into Sieg's laser. And that is a dead Yasuo.
Yeah, it's a real shame about the disconnect. I'd love to have seen them fight over Baron and see how that did manage to turn around, but as of yet, neither team has managed to take Baron despite both coming fairly close.
Yeah, I mean, considering sort of the goal difference at the moment is definitely 4,000 now with 4.2k, 4.1k. So that is a bit of a worry for BRGR, but they are managing to pick up kills. I think Manatee Gaming aren't really respecting the fact that BRGR have got a very, very strong Yasuo, and as we saw, Imp was just kind of free farming mid lane and then ends up dying against the Yasuo. It's not fantastic, but Manatee Gaming are still ahead at least, so it's not the end of the world at least for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was really unfortunate that the game was just starting to heat up when the technical difficulties did arise. It does look like it was across the board. Sadly, nothing we can do about that. We've just got to try our best to talk about nothing while we're looking at a slideshow.
I think we did a good job,
I
personally.
think you did a fantastic job, so props to you, my friend.
Yeah, go us. There's just more Baron dancing at the moment. Coco is actually in the bot lane, but obviously he does have little tunnels that he can ult to. So just going to try and clear that wave, get a bit of push going on there. Bot lane for Manatee Gaming, the tower there is still fairly high off, so nothing should go down there. We do have a bit of a flank coming in from Unlucky Bopper, and I don't think that BRGR notices this. Thrashy notices it now. That was very, very good there, though. He used the wards just so he could get the knocker. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Unlucky Bopper managed to follow. Thrashy uses Unbreakable just to get away. That is a very useful ultimate to have in a teamfight, but unfortunately, Thrashy will not have that if they try and do Baron now. Manatee Gaming are looking like they're going to go and do it, so yeah. We've got a Rek'Sai who's recalling, but really, you need to get up there and try and stop the Baron going down.
I was gonna say, I can't see any tunnels in the immediate vicinity that
Yeah, they did
Coco
manage
can
to
get
clear them
to.
out, which is very, very well done. Oh my goodness!
Oh.
The Thrashy manages to steal the Baron with his pulverize. There is a giant fight going on here. Mod is going to go down to the Salt and Iron and the Victor, and they're going to pick up a kill onto Vi's My Wife. So unfortunately, they did get the Baron. Fantastic steal there by Thrashy. I can't believe Iron missed that. But Manatee Gaming, because they are ahead, they do manage to turn it around, get a fantastic gold lead, carrying on, and we do manage to kill 4 out of 5. Fortunately for BRGR, Coco does have the Baron, but he may well not be long for this well.
Yeah, I mean,
Manatee Gaming
arguably,
take 1 tower.
arguably if Coco had been there, he may have been able to turn the fight in their favor. So,
Yeah,
would you rather have
I mean,
him?
that was an incredible steal by Thrashy, or
Yeah,
should we
that-
say a bad smite by Iron. Regardless of what it was, very well done for Thrashy for stealing that.
Oh no,
It was just
props to
unfortunate
Thrashy.
about the remainder of that. The fight didn't manage to go quite their way because they got them low. They got a lot of AoE damage onto them. They just didn't manage to get any of the kills. If they'd managed to have got a kill on one of them, they maybe wouldn't have taken as much damage. That they then could have got the next and the next. Really close, just a really unfortunate fight.
Yeah, I mean, we can see that Thrashy's clearly a very resourceful Alistair player with with the ward and headbutt over the wall to escape when he when he got cornered, and then the Baron steal to follow. A couple of really impressive plays.
Yeah, I mean, really, like just the gold that we get from having a Baron. That's just about keeping the RGR in this game right now, because that was a very decisive one fight for. Well, I say decisive. As I said, it could have gone quite differently. The fact that everyone survived, I'll call that decisive. A very decisive fight for Manatee Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, if Manatee Gaming had picked up that Baron, arguably the power play probably would have taken down most of the base. I mean, BRGR are already down an inhibitor, and I think they could have waved goodbye to another one. So I really think Thrashy's kept them in the game.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's just about the only thing that they could have hoped for is a Baron steal. Because if they didn't have that Baron, mid in him easily gone, probably top in him easily gone as well. Thrashy's trying to make a play. He does get stunned, he misses the flash pulverize. So I take back everything I said about Thrashy.
Nah, Thrashy clearly exercising his right to make plays today.
Siraj uses the equalizer just to try and slow them down. Manatee Gaming are getting away, but Salt using his ultimate just to kind of keep them all back. There's teleport coming in from Unlucky Bopper, deals a lot of damage onto Mod. He manages to quick sword sash for stun, but Coco does go down to Victor. Thrashy will probably be going down shortly. Imp flashes over after Siraj, securing the kill, and Thrashy will be going down to the next. And meanwhile, Vi is taken down by Brown rather, and Mod was looking to try and make a getaway. He didn't manage to get his ultimate off the entire fight, which means possibly, Coco and Thrashy didn't manage to get any good knockups off. Mod didn't manage to get a knock off himself. Suicides to tower, doesn't manage to give a kill off to anyone. That's all he could hope for right then, is just not giving gold away. But we've got close to a 9,000k gold difference. Top inhib goes down, and it's looking like they're going to be taking the base. I have just disconnected, however, I think it's safe to say it's probably GG for BRGR, and Manatee Gaming will take 2-0 win.
Yeah, I mean,
to win the series.
Usually a TP into your team, into the middle of your team is a bit of a gift, but not when it's a Renekton with nearly 5,000 health. That's not what you wanted.
1-11 for Unlucky Buffer. I feel like we may have actually not paid enough attention to Unlucky Bopper and the score and gold lead that he's actually got. He did actually end up with a 4,000 gold lead on Siraz's Rumble. So again, Siraz 272 wasn't the deciding factor for them losing again, but obviously Rumble is such a hard matchup to play against a Renekton. It was just a much better pick and ban phase from Manatee Gaming that got them the win.
I can confirm
very
that
decisive.
I can confirm that Manatee Gaming did come out victorious in that respect, despite the stutter in the camera. So I can confirm that was the final push for them. Looks like Unlucky Bopper did actually pick up another kill when that went down.
Okay.
So he actually ended the game on 8-1-14 on that Renekton into that Rumble pick.
I Fair enough then. Yeah, so very well done by Manatee Gaming. Obviously, as we kind of said, BRGR have got a new roster effectively. We didn't expect insane amounts coming from them because obviously they've got to pick up a lot to try and actually secure the kills. Not secure the kills, to actually win the game. But given that they don't have great synergy, not the worst showing, but Manatee Gaming really did look strong in that. And I think they may actually end up becoming a bit of a contender if they can keep this up
Yeah,
for
I think
close to top spot.
BRGR showed a lot of promise in the second game. They kept it extremely even, and their picks and bans were much more reactive. They were much better. They didn't just look like general solo queue bans. They looked like, you know, a really strong set of bans, you know, targeted at specific members of Manatee Gaming, and they put in a convincing display, but unfortunately not convincing enough.
Yeah, obviously. I think that is it for us at least. So I've been James. My co-caster has been Zach. I believe we're passing it on to some of the shoutcasters, but I'm not sure who they are, so I'm sure they'll introduce themselves. But thank you for watching, and hopefully we will see you guys soon.
Thank you very much for putting up with us through all the technical difficulties. Hopefully us talking at slideshows wasn't too awkward to watch.
Yeah, take care.
Welcome out. I'll be whooping ass like my belt was out. Just for the record, I don't smoke, but I might light it up if I was down at Michael Phelps' house. Just a young kid raised on a rough block, where the #1 phrase is fuck cops, and we all carry blades and buckshots. But I'm trying to make a change for my luck stops. Drink triple C, double X single. That's the motto of the generation that I hang around with. Who the hell gonna do the right thing in a world full of trouble? Man, I feel like I'm surrounded. My name is the one you found, and I owe my fame to the underground. If you're chasing dreams, you gotta run them down. But take a break for a minute, it's summer now. Come on. Sometimes I feel like lending you a hand. Come with me tonight, 'cause I'ma set you free tonight, girl. Sometimes I feel like I don't give a damn. Run with me tonight, I'm giving you the key tonight to my world. And it feels alright, and it feels okay, 'cause I don't give a fuck anyway. Sometimes I feel like I don't give a damn. Yeah, I shine, baby, kiss the light. And every single morning is a gift of life. I fly through the sky, never miss the flight. Every single girl call me Mr. Right. I'm like, whoa. When it comes to speed of women, I like slow. Never know who else these women just might know. So many brothers out there acting like they never heard the story about Billie Jean and Michael. I suppose the money owns you. You don't own it like you're supposed to. You don't know shit, let me coach you. Just don't quit, thought I told you. My name is the one you found, and I owe my fame to the underground. If you're chasing dreams, you gotta run them down. But take a break for a minute, it's summer now. Sometimes I feel like lending you a hand. Come with me tonight, 'cause I'ma set you free tonight, girl. Sometimes I feel like I don't give a damn. Run with me tonight, I'm giving you the key
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last best of two in House Party 5EU West for tonight. I will be your sole caster tonight, Void. And we start off with the game against... I'm sorry. We are starting off with 5v5 tryhards against former TLG, now known as Miyaskuma. And we are off with the bans. On the blue side, Gangplank and Release. On the purple side or the red side, depending on your preference, Kindred and Darius. Of course, just still normal bans. We haven't seen many targeted bans in the past, and we don't see ones now. Vigar also banned on the blue side. An extremely strong champion right now. Can survive lane fairly easily if he gets some jungler pressure and just snowballs into an amazing carry. And Fiora banned on the purple team as well. We have seen Fiora played in numerous matches at the LCS level, at the House Party 5v5 level, and she is always a force to be reckoned with. Now, on the blue side, we see a hover of Tahm Kench, also an extremely potent support. Has that nice mix of engage with his ult, disengage with his W, making it impossible to eat a carry and carry him towards safety. And yes, Tahm Kench is going to be locked in, as we would expect. Now, on the purple side, we see a hover of Sion and Gragas. Sion has not seen much play in quite some time. Around the time when his W was nerfed to gain less health. And yeah, they're just picking around. Gragas locked in though. Yeah, Gragas is an extremely strong jungler. The only reason why we haven't seen him at Worlds is because he was banned because of that game crashing bug where he couldn't reactivate the barrel after he died. And we see a Riven lock in. Riven known as an extremely strong champion in solo queue. Very annoying to go up against, can snowball into a gigantic monster that can one-shot the backline. So yeah, that will be locked in. It looks like the 5v5 tryhards are still thinking about their... Oh, I apologize, I mean... For former TLG, Miyaskuma are thinking about their next picks. There's a hover over the Shinzao and the Vayne. The Vayne has been nerfed in recent patches with that -3 AD, which sounds like it's not a lot, but it's really... The bonus AD really helps her laning phase out, and we see a lock-in of the Vayne and the Rex side. The Vayne, of course, will be quite safe in the lane, and I'm guessing in the team fights with that Tahm Kench, ready to peel and to devour. The Rex side, always a strong jungler, has a lot of presence everywhere with the tunnels, with the tremor sense. An extremely good jungler overall. On the purple team, we're seeing a hover of Olaf and the Caitlyn. Olaf, who could go mid. We've seen Faker do it. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say about the Olaf mid. We see hover over the Caitlyn. Caitlyn is a strong champion against Vayne before that Cutlass, because the Cutlass just turns the match into Vayne's favor. She has an extreme amount of pressure at that point against the high range Caitlyn, and yeah, we see lock-in of the Kate and the Braum. It looks like purple side will really be looking to pump out the aggression in that bottom lane early. Kate has a lot of early game damage, plus the Braum passive is so incredibly strong with somebody who can proc it with such ease as Caitlyn can from such a high range. So it looks to be like an extremely strong bot lane. They might actually look to possibly lane swap that. In a scenario where you have an extremely strong bot lane and a snowbally champion on top like Riven, I think blue side would really prefer to lane swap that, so they could deny the Riven and just have a passive farm lane in the top. Picking Gnar would be perfect in helping them out in that effort, since he can farm from a distance, he is ranged, the Q has massive range, he gets health when he pops his Mega Gnar. It looks to be, no, actually swapped over to the Hecarim. So Hecarim and Victor will be the last lock-ins for the blue side. Victor, also an extremely strong AP mid laner, possibly the reason why Veigar was banned. Victor gains a lot of ability power from his perfect hex score. At level 80 he gets plus 180 ability power, which stacks with the death cap, bringing it usually to around 1000 AP, and that is a prime one-shot target for the Veigar. So on purple team we see a hover over the Azir. The Azir Victor matchup is quite hard to explain. Both of them have a lot of range. I find it always to be a skill matchup. There's not a lot of counterpick potential there. In that sense, both of them, of course, running teleport because, hey, that's the new meta. And yes, that's the Azir lock-in. Now we are waiting a minute for them to sort out their runes, their mastery, swap a bit around so everybody gets what they wanted. Now, what I would look for is that Hecarim Riven lane. It seems to be extremely volatile because, as we all know, Hecarim always uses that TP and Ignite, which could get punished quite severely with an early Gragas roam, since Riven has more than enough damage to follow up on that. Meanwhile, the Rek'Sai, of course, could maybe farm to a Brutalizer and then probably could outdamage the Gragas even in those early ganks. Even though we know Gragas as an early game jungler, this has some such presence. We might also see just a Cinderhulk Rek'Sai going full tank, waiting for that late game. Of course, they have amazing late game scaling with the Victor and the Vayne. Both of them extremely strong carries with the help of peeling, with the help of the mixed damage and peeling that Hecarim and Rek'Sai bring. Even going full tank with one offensive item is still quite strong on both of those champions, and Tahm Kench, of course, there to save the situation if things get dire. Meanwhile, on purple team, they have a sort of a different comp, so to speak. The Riven has a really good mid-game power spike. The Azir is somewhat scaly, but does fairly well in the mid-game. However, Caitlyn doesn't really thrive in the mid-game. Her early game is extremely good, her late game is pretty good, but the mid-game is where she has that large power dip. After she finishes Infinity Edge, when the lanes break up, she can't abuse her range anymore and is left with an underwhelming power to her. Braum, there is not much to say about Braum. He is good in mostly any situation. One of the most versatile supports there is. Also has a huge amount of engage and disengage with all the CC he's packing and his shield that can block anything, even auto attacks, which might sound kind of silly. Now, we'll wait for one more minute to get into the game. Meanwhile, I want to see in chat. I want to see who do you think will win? Who do you think has a better team comp? What maybe you would like to see? Do you agree with the lane swap or not? Overall, looks to be an interesting. Yeah, overall looks to be an interesting best of 5 of the night. Now, it is also something to mention also is that currently 5v5 Tryhards is ranked 9th in the league, while Miyaskuma is ranked 7th. They are separated by 9 points, so yeah, if it's a draw, I mean, Skuma will still have a lead over the 5-5 tryhards. If it's a win for 5-5 tryhards, they'll be edged over actually to the 6th spot, beating out also Tunnel Snake with 10 points in total. Overall, lower ranked teams, but good nevertheless, of course. And a few more seconds and we will be loading in to the loading screen, getting ready for this game between Skuma and 5v5 tryhards. Now, if we have luck on our side this game, we will not have any trouble with the Riot servers like we did last game. Hopefully there won't be champions popping in, popping out, and teleporting all over the place for a hectic experience. Oh. I just have to mention while we're in the loading screen that Championship Riven, which while we're waiting for everything to load, just a small fact, there is currently only one person in the entire world that has picked all of the world's games correctly. And his prediction is that SKT will win Worlds next week. So he could possibly be another owner of Championship Riven, like like the one like the top laner of 5v5 tryhards. Okay, we have loaded into the rift. We are waiting for the champions to spawn. The base gates are up. Champions have spawned. They have started buying their items. Everybody getting ready for maybe an exciting level 1. Who knows? It definitely is possible to decide the 5v5 tryhards, and they're off. Everybody sprinting out of the base, running towards the mid lane. Now we see that the team of Skuma are scattered a bit, going to the bot side, while it looks like the 5-5 tryhards are maybe looking for something. They're grouped up and they're looking maybe for an invade, maybe just some deep wards. They see Rek'Sai, but oh, and Braum gives away their position. Raven just goes in to flaunt some Qs, show off that skin. And here's the level 1. Vayne has to expend Flash, actually. But Tanketch is still under fire, he also has to expend Flash. Oh, here comes the guy, Gaga's Body Slam Flash. The Raven flashes in as well, the heal is popped, the exhaust is popped as well. This is a dead Tahm Kench, first blood going over to Azir, who also expended his Flash. A lot of summoners blown. In the end, 5v5 tryhards manages to get the first blood, and Caitlyn has disconnected. So meanwhile, things I want to mention about that level 1. This actually forced Vayne into taking Condemn level 1 to condemn out the Riven. So that will be somewhat of a difficult lane. Not a more difficult lane than it should be, especially because it's against such a strong bot lane of the Caitlyn and the Braum. Starting out Condemn without having that tumble for the maneuverability will definitely not be the best thing ever. I apologize, that there seems to be some mess with the spectator server as well, apparently. So, while we are waiting for the pause to end and the Caitlyn internet issue to stop being an issue, we can talk about what this means for the team of 5v5 Tryhards. Now, Azir got the first blood and could back and get... That's 400 gold. He could possibly get boots to harass Victor with more ease. He could maybe go in another Doran's ring for just some early power in his laning phase. All in all, it's going to help him a lot. It's going to swing the lane into his favor. He did expend Flash for that, while Rek'Sai still has Flash. They could look... The team of Miyaskuma could look to even out the odds by having that early Rek'Sai gank with the Flash on Burrow. Yeah, also speaking of the bot lane, both Vayne and Tahm Kench expended both of their summoners, which is also extremely rough for them. They don't have the exhaust, the heal, or any of the flashes. So that can be quite difficult. Yeah, we're actually still waiting. Okay, while we wait, we have gotten ourselves another caster here to save the day, the amazing Grang.
Yes, hello. So, a very hectic night for all of us play-by-play casters, but luckily I managed to done my stuff and managed to make my way back. But I'm also having an issue of where, because I was not part of the lobbies when the game started, so I'm not able to spectate it. So I'm gonna see if I can find another way.
Yeah, same. I have the problem where actually the entire server disconnected because of the Caitlyn disconnect issue. So yeah, the Riot Spectator client is down again, as the admin have pointed out, and we're currently trying to find a way to reconnect. I apologize, but the casters are not of much use currently while we're trying to sort this thing out.
Well, it's not a matter of being useful, it's just... Well, I believe I had a point before I opened up my mouth. But you don't have to look at the game screen and just look at what's going on, because we'll have some voices for you to listen to. They might not be the smoothest or the nicest sounding, but still, it's something.
Yeah, it is definitely an interesting situation we have gotten ourselves into. We can cast the broadcast, which will be 15 seconds late, and because Riot Spectator client is down, is currently stuck at 6 minutes and is doing nothing. So yeah, we can only speculate at what is currently happening in game.
Well, there's obviously a lot of mind games going on, I can only assume.
Certainly, spells are being cast, auto attacks are being thrown out, possible minions are being CS'd.
But whom? Or who? You know it's whom.
Yeah.
It's safe to assume that it is the AE carries, but if for the support players out there, it's the supports that are getting the last hits. not the most efficient way.
Well, they do have that Targon, so it is quite efficient. The heal plus the gold, always nice to have.
Very nice.
Indeed.
So, well, I think that's something that we can touch on is the champions that they have selected. I'm not sure if you went over about this.
I
team
had
comps.
around 7 minutes of free time waiting for all this to clear up. I went over it, but go over it. I want to hear your opinion on the team comps they have picked, the engage, disengage they have, and such things.
Well, as we saw today, that on Worlds, that Hecarim was making his plays, and also Riven. So, not sure if they're having some influence over from those games. Like, could very possibly be, not coincidence or not. But a very how to say it, fighting top laners. Maybe we're is a little bit in trouble against the Hecarim. I'd imagine with the W heal that he'll get, Hecarim will get, and then just the Rampage, if I'm correct. And the low mana costs, Riven is gonna have some issues there, but if she can just get to that point where she's just spamming those abilities over and over and over, then she's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, it is something that I'm guessing somebody probably touched on the last time Hecarim was played, but Hecarim is probably one of the strongest melee ranged top laners. Just because of that Q and the power he possesses with it.
Yeah, well, we were still going over some technical issues, but the game is going on, at least on the stream, because I'm not able to get into the game spectating, so I have to... Yeah, my only choice is just to spectate the stream. So, not sure if that's gonna add to the delay, or if it's even worth it, how bad it's gonna sound. I imagine horrible my cast is gonna be late.
Okay, so yeah, spectating the stream, we see that currently it is 42 on the side of I'm sorry, Miyaskuma. I forget the name because it was recently changed. Versus 55 tryhards. Doesn't look like that first blood for the Azir paid off too well for them.
No, currently the score is 4-2, so Miyaskuma. Yeah, Miyaskuma. Have the kill lead, but 5v5 tryhards have the third lead, so they already have 2.2k gold to lead. And it is the auto turrets that are down, so they basically have the blue side jungle basically open up for them. And as you can see, that Azir is farming out the jungle camp, wolf camp, away from Rek'Sai, who actually goes for the blue buff instead. There's gonna be fight, but Rek'Sai looks to get it, and just there's knockback that knocked Gragas over the wall to safety, and Vayne goes down low enough but manages to flash over the wall, but Victor manages to get one kill onto the Azir, and now Gragas tries to get over the wall, fails, so double kill for Victor, and now bottom lane, the two top laners are fighting on the wrong side of the top lane, but it doesn't matter, Riven actually manages to outplay Hecarim and gets the kill, and the fight is still going on. Rek'Sai tries to flash in for the K-Twin, who still managed to get away, but only to be taken down. And Victor for the last kill, that's a 5-man for 1.
I can just imagine how weird this must be for the people that are watching this. Just like, yeah, they saw that outplay happen 15 seconds ago, and now they have you refreshing their memory of it.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that if there's a nice play go, it's always nice to look back at it, even though it's like 15 seconds later.
Yeah, so we can call this 5v5 casting. I don't know. Back in time, or something along those lines. A retrospective on what happened 15 seconds ago.
Yes, indeed. And with those kills, Mieskuma actually manages to take down the gold with its almost even, only 800 gold separating the team. Rek'Sai looks to be almost caught out, but dodges out the Brom kill, and actually looks to engage because his team is right there. And they're looking for Brom, who is now caught off from the rest of his team. They're looking to run, but the red buff is slowing. Rek'Sai goes underground, looks for a knockup, maybe even a snipe. Oh no, Riven comes in with a stun, and Brom is safe.
Great escape by the Brom. Currently, this is an interesting thing to look at. 5v5 Tryhards actually has a gold lead, even though they are down on 5 kills, which is quite impressive on their part. And we can see it's because of the gigantic farm disparity in every role, except of course the supports, but that's 2 CS different.
It's something. It's something.
It's something, but we can see an enormous, just an enormous.
Ooh, there's actually a 3-man stun coming out from Riven. Victor got melted right up, and a lot of smash going on. But the Riven looks to get a second kill. They stun onto Rek'Sai. They're looking for Tom Kench, but perhaps the grey health. But it is enough? Nope, the last Brom kill comes and finishes up that kill. Meanwhile, Crack has picked off Vayne quite good.
Yeah, the Riven just teleports top to clear the wave and save her turret. And they're back in kills, and they now have a 4,000 gold lead. So yeah, just look at those numbers. Just look at the mid lane CS numbers: 73 to 121. That's a 50 CS differential.
Actually, meanwhile, the top lane Hecarim tried to do something, but the Riven just turned down the damage right back at him. Has to run away and manages to do so. There comes actually the Tom Kench ultimate. Who will come down with Vayne? No, Vayne just walks down the lane, doesn't even take it. So the 5v5 tryhard bottom lane just falls back. Rek'Sai the river looking to come down. No, it's just gonna take the got the lure. Hey.
Now, this is actually a considerable lead the 5v5 tryhards have gotten for themselves, especially at this point in time. Speaking of which, the Riot Spectator client is down again for the nth time.
Okay, so now this time also, unfortunately, our streamer also got kicked out of the spectating. So unfortunately, we're not able to broadcast the first game of Mieskuma versus 5v5 tryhards. I'm still looking to get words if we can actually try game 2 to get broadcasted or not. But a lot of fighting, even before 20 minutes. It was like 16 kills already. And you could see from the farm that under 100 farms on pretty much every laner.
Okay, we have just gotten word from production that we'll have to cut the stream short. The Riot Spectator client is working up again, and it doesn't look like we'll be able to broadcast any of the games. We sincerely apologize for this inconvenience we have caused you. Blame Riot, please, not us.
Yeah, it's not on our side, it is within Riot's. But still, Miss Kuma and 5v5 tryhards are still going to do their games. They're just not gonna be broadcasted. So you can look up the results tomorrow on the website or on the Reddit. No, actually, it's not gonna be on Reddit. It's just gonna be on the website, I believe.
We will, of course, tell the next casters to tell you who won in case anybody remembers this match and everything that transpired.
Yes. So that was the last game for today. Thank you for everyone who came to watch the games today, and we do apologize for the issues with this last game. Those who came to watch 5v5 tryhards and the rebranded Miss Kuma will go at it. Just a shame. But these things happen. There's nothing that we can do about it. But tune in next week. There's gonna be a new week, week 5, and new sets of games. So we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
back.
Down and shut up, I don't want to hear a word come out of your mouth. Why won't you listen to me? Outside life's great, but inside you're screaming. It's not how you thought it would be.